What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another week, another episode of Generation X Gaming. Not the Generation X Gaming. See, I'm perfect. The Daily Grind. On today's show, we're going to be talking and watching Laura Fryer. Says, I was skeptical in 2001 why Xbox hardware is in real trouble. So we'll watch that, get your thoughts and opinions. I'll give you my thoughts and opinions as well. We're also going to talk about Bethesda rumored to lay off anyone not working on Fallout or Elder Scrolls, and we'll talk about that. Then we also have CD Projekt Red thinks Cyberpunk 2077 failure hasn't fully recovered yet. And we're also going to talk about GTA. Reliable Insider thinks that GTA 6 could make $1 billion from pre-orders in its first hour. So we'll all go through all of this today. If you guys like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do appreciate you tuning in, hanging out, hitting that like. Real quick, Travis, thank you very much for the W for the 10 jewels. I don't even know where that pops up or what it does, but thank you very much for the jewels. I do appreciate you very much. What's going on, chat? Let me see who's all here.
At Ward Huff celebrates 17 months of membership.
Ward, thank you very much for the 17 months. Man, has it been 17 months already? Jesus. Almost a year and a half for you. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. All right. Let me see who's all here. What's going on, Altern? Travis, Eclipse, Aku, good morning, Ward. Sarge, Jason. Feels good, man. What's going on? Water Bear, good morning. Who am I missing? Jesse Mack, Big Mo. Who else is here? Magic Dolphin, what's going on? Crowded, good morning. Crowd says Cyberpunk failure. I thought the game sold great. No, it wasn't. You misheard what I said. CD Projekt Red thinks Cyberpunk 27 failure hasn't fully recovered. The failure was the game, the way it came out, broke, buggy, and unfinished. And since then, they've been trying to win the goodwill back. Even though they fixed the game, when the game launched, it was broken, buggy, and they still haven't fully recovered, is what they're saying. What's going on, Cisco?
At Magic Dolphin 474 celebrates 34 months of membership. Hope all is well.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you, Dolphin. Where did that go? Oh, that didn't pop up yet. Well, I guess I can click on this one, right? Thank you very much for the continued support. 34 months. Appreciate you. Feels good. Says Cyberpunk bounced back pretty well, I thought, especially with the anime on Netflix. Apparently, you might think so, but they don't think so. Whatever, it says 30 people are crying about GTA 6 being 80. Meanwhile, we had people buy Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League Deluxe Edition for 100. It's very true. It's very true. All right, let's start off. Actually, let's not start off there. I want to show you guys something, right? I don't know if you guys can see that little thing right there, right? This thing's pretty cool. Let me show you. I have pictures of it real fast. I want to show you for Father's Day.
At Altern 14 celebrates 32 months of membership.
Sir ... Sir ... General Skywalker tells me we are losing the war in theaters. Also, don't pre-order GTA 6 if at $80.
Thank you very much for the continued support. 32 months. You're almost at the 3-year mark there, Altern. 3 years. Appreciate you. I love this, the Stormtrooper. So on Father's Day, they gave it to me like a day early, but they gave me this thing. Okay, this is like a resin, right? It's pretty cool. It's tiny, right? It's right. It's this thing right here, right? Pretty big, right? I mean, here's a hand. That's how big it is. Okay, about the size of my hand, but it's really cool. Okay, you can see, right? Really neat. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, right? That's Generation 1 Optimus Prime, and that's not Generation 1 Megatron, which is fine. I don't care about that, right? It's a fucking cool. It's a cool piece, right? It's a cool piece. It lights up and it can change a whole bunch of different colors. Here, I'll plug it in and show you. Right, it goes through like a cycle, and it'll change different colors. Right, it's pretty cool. Yeah, the person that does these things, you can see a whole bunch of different ones online, but they're really, really cool. I'll place that over on my desk right now. We won't put it back. Yeah, but there's that, and here I'll show you a closer picture, right? So pretty cool. They take these little figurines, and they just encase them into, right? I really like the smoke effect and whatnot. I don't know how they do that. I don't know how they do the smoke effect, but I do like the blast that they did here. So I thought it was a pretty cool Father's Day gift. All right, let's see. How much did it cost? I have no idea. It was for Father's Day. I would say something like that maybe cost, I don't know, between like 40 and 70, I would think. I have no idea. Waterbird says Generation 1 went into the future and destroyed the new Megatron. Well, I kind of think of it as my childhood. I loved Generation 1, and he went in, yeah, and it was like, I'm destroying Michael Bay's Transformers, which is the headcanon that I'm going with, Water. Did you see the Transformers that transform on their own? That shit's crazy. Yeah, they're also like $1,000. They have like Grimlock, Megatron, Soundwave, Optimus Prime, and Bumblebee, I think. I think they have 5 total. Those things are crazy expensive. What is the company? It's not a company. It's a apparently my wife ordered it off of like Etsy. It's not a company. It's a person that made it. Yeah, they have Dragon Ball Z. They have Star Wars, Star Trek, Friday the 13th type of stuff. A whole bunch of people make them. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. The headcan's always better. Just ask Marvel and Star Wars. That's exactly right. All right. So let's go to Laura Fryer, shall we? Need Mass Effect? Maybe it has it. Maybe it has it. I have no idea. All right, Laura Fryer has a video here. It's called I Was Skeptical in 2001, Why Xbox Hardware is in Real Trouble, but Not Going Anywhere. All right, if you guys like Laura Fryer's videos, you can go check them out on her channel. Link in the description down below. Let's get to it.
I was there helping build the very first In 2001, I was there helping build the very first Xbox. And I was one of the biggest skeptics on the team.
You ever want to make hardware?
No, that's one thing that we decided not to do.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? I mean, right off the bat, right? Bill Gates didn't want to make hardware. Here we are in 2026, 26 years after, or 25 years after Xbox came out, because they came out in 2001, right? And now they're not making hardware. I mean, they are, but that's not their go-to, right? That's not their go-to.
The idea that Microsoft could ever create a game console was seen as a bit of a joke.
I was worried that a software company like Microsoft would always struggle with the insane costs and risks of hardware. 25 years later, those early fears are coming back stronger than ever. With AI-driven component shortages driving prices through the roof, the hardware gamble is really showing its cracks. My thinking at the time...
Memory chip squeeze 2 months. BBGR... all right, rampant memory.
Was that Windows was already the dominant gaming platform with over 90% of PCs running it.
By 1999, 90% of computers worldwide used the Microsoft Windows operating system.
In what year?
90% of computers worldwide used the Microsoft Windows operating system. They were untouchable, without comparison or viable rival.
We had the Internet Gaming Zone.
It's almost the same as, which is pretty funny. Right, it's like Steam to everybody else on the PC market right now for games. Like Steam is like 90-something% of the market, where Windows is at for PCs back in the day?
Which at the time,
I would say for all the gamers that are in the PC market, I would assume like 90+%, even though they have Steam running on their PC, there's Linux out there, there's Mac out there, but I would assume that 90+%, again, I'm pulling a number out of my ass, I would assume it's really high, that everyone that's playing games is probably most likely 90% playing on a Windows machine.
it was one of the biggest online gaming communities on the internet. Remember, this was when Steam didn't exist. I felt like we were abandoning the most successful gaming platform in the world for a risky bet that we weren't ready for. At the same time, I knew I was biased because I had helped build the Internet Gaming Zone. I knew if we pivoted, it would likely die on the vine. I eventually came around and joined the team, but those early fears that a software company would struggle to master the hardware cycle, those are more relevant now than ever.
Which is crazy to think about, right? Because 25 years later, you would think what her fears were back then is what's happening right now to Xbox, which means they've lost their way in the 25 years that they actually were doing this.
And with AI-driven component shortages, the hardware gamble is becoming unsustainable. But Xbox fans, this isn't the end. Don't believe the rumors that Microsoft's going to spin off Xbox. I don't. They used to say that every year when I worked there. They're simply returning to where they've always been strongest, and that's Windows. Whenever they talk about platform.
So she's leaning into the Windows theory, right? Which they're going into cloud, and problem is, doesn't matter if they're on the same actual box as Steam, they're way, way behind. But the amount of people you know what? Let me look this up for a second. The amount of people using Windows is ungodly, right? Let me see. Okay, Windows. How many people use Windows? Okay, so Microsoft Windows is used by over 1 billion people globally across the desktop operating systems. Windows dominates approximately 62% of the market share. Okay, 62%. 72% of the people are using Windows 11. 26% are using Windows 10. Okay. Out of that, how many people use Windows and game? Windows and dominate platform for PC gaming, with over 90% of gamers using it across the platform, like Steam, which has over 132 million monthly active users. Windows accounts for 93.5% of all user operating systems. This equates to over 120 million active Windows gamer globally. Okay, so 120 million active Windows gamers globally. Think about this for a second. They don't ever tell you this number. We just talk about the console, right? 120 million active Windows gamers globally are using the Windows Store, which is, there's only 28 million people that own an Xbox. At least the last time they counted for it, right? 28 million people use an Xbox. 120 million are actively using Windows for gamers. That's a huge, huge difference, right? Sony right now has 93.5 million people have a console. Windows users that are gaming on the Windows is 120 million, which is probably the total sales that PlayStation 5 will get to in its lifespan. Right? That's not shooting down Sony. That's just doing what it is. It's the same 120, 150 million people max for one of the consoles. So they have more users on Windows gaming than they actually 5 times more, 6 times more than they have actually on their actual consoles. Interesting.
Remember, it's not just hardware. It's everything. It's Windows, the cloud, DirectX, Game Pass, the games, the entire ecosystem. They're trying.
But Satya Nadella is going to tell you that they're not profitable. Okay.
Trying to go back to what they know. Hardware has always been.
Let me rewind this for a second so she can finish her thought.
Remember, it's not just hardware. It's everything. It's Windows, the cloud, DirectX, Game Pass, the games, the entire ecosystem. They're trying to go back to what they know. Hardware has always been a brutal business. It's expensive and it has razor-thin margins. When we started Xbox, we didn't have the manufacturing experience that Sony or Nintendo did.
Think mice, keyboards, we had some speakers, we had this thing called Interactive Barney.
That's super
Interactive Barney. It's just Teddy Ruxpin, really, is what it is.
duper.
What eventually convinced me was that we didn't stray too far from what we already knew. The original Xbox was literally the DirectX box, built on PC architecture with x86 chips and a modified Windows core. So we jumped in and we pivoted everything to Xbox. I had just shipped the first Crimson Skies, and version 2 was immediately targeted for Xbox.
It's a good game
And
back in the day.
honestly, it felt like a better fit for the title anyway. So we temporarily stepped away from strengthening Windows gaming to compete with Sony. And that made sense in 2001.
Right.
But now, the math is very different. The numbers are brutal. Xbox CEO Asha Sharma has been blunt. We're in a hardware component crisis. Storage and memory costs could be 5 times higher by holiday 2027 because AI data centers are sucking up the global supply. That completely broke the old model.
I think that, usually what happens at this point in a generation is your costs come down, right? Memory, storage.
You know what's funny? I said this last week on GXG, but Asha Sharma worked in the AI department, right? She was the lead of the AI department. Do you think that she didn't order the chips ahead of time for the AI section, but they didn't order the chips for the new console they were going to be making? And now they're shit out of luck because all the chips that they ordered or all the stuff that they ordered for parts are only for the AI centers now and not for the actual box when they order the stuff. Just want you to think about that for a second.
Etc.
That's not working anymore. You've got exploding hardware costs. You've got Game Pass eating into full price games. And not enough big game hits are coming out to offset everything. That's why this big reset is happening. They need to cut costs and refocus where they can actually win. There was recent reporting that Microsoft is exploring options like a spin-off or turning Xbox into a subsidiary. Asha's in a tough position, so it makes sense to me that they're looking at every possibility. But I don't think it'll...
Also, we went over this. Phil Spencer wanted to spin off Xbox years ago to get it away from Microsoft and make it its own thing. But that didn't go through. I wonder why. I wonder what piece of the puzzle is still at Xbox or Microsoft that hasn't changed. Oh, that's right. It's Satya Nadella.
Will happen because it would risk weakening Windows, which is still Microsoft's biggest profit driver and crown jewel.
Good morning, Wonder Rose.
At least for the titles that we're talking about right now, Windows is already where the world plays, and that's a very important slogan to the company. It's very important to...
See, when they say Windows is where the world plays, remember, go back to that number. They have 120 million people playing on Windows, gaming-wise. There's over 1 billion people that use Windows, but 120 million people are playing games on Windows, meaning they're not playing on their Xbox anymore. We only think of it in one way. Consoles are not selling. But yet there's gamers still playing games, but on their PCs through Windows, and 120 million of them.
Asha, and it is very much a rallying point for the company.
But keep in mind that even though Windows still dominates, competition like Steam and Linux have been chipping away at that dominance over the years. Microsoft knows they can't abandon the living room even if the math doesn't work.
Correct.
That's why they're working on a way to bring the console experience to PC. You've got Project Helix and something they're calling Xbox Mode on Windows. It's a full-screen, controller-first experience that's supposed to make your PC feel more like a...
I'm going to back up there for a second.
That's why they're working on a way to bring the console experience to PC. You've got Project Helix and something they're calling Xbox Mode on Windows. It's a full-screen, controller-first experience that's supposed to make your PC feel more like a console. Look,
That's right. Listen to the words carefully. Make your PC feel like more console, but it's a PC.
I know what a lot of you are thinking because I'm thinking the same thing. A lot of people love having a dedicated box under the TV that just works. No driver conflicts,
Correct.
No background programs breaking your game.
You just want a console that you want something you can just plug in, play, easy, convenient. That's what you want as a customer, which you should get.
Windows has a reputation for being messy, and it's fair. I wrestle with my mom's Windows machine at least once a week, and I can tell you it doesn't just work. So the biggest concern with their entire plan is execution. If they don't nail the "it just works" feeling, many fans will stick with traditional consoles, and Sony has an advantage here.
Right, because when you get a PlayStation, it just works. Well, there's updates, just like every other console does.
They're really smart. They locked in their PS5 component supplies.
That's a big thing there, what she just said. They locked in their piece of their console component. But why didn't Xbox? Right? Now it's too late, right? PlayStation bought the stuff before the price increase, because you don't hear the stories of them 4 times, 5 times the price. But yet you hear Microsoft. Now, again, Asha Sharma was in the AI department, and she knew it was happening, right? So they bought a whole bunch of AI stuff for the AI servers before the price increase. But now the price increase is going up because of the AI, right? Supply and demand. And yet, for some strange reason, Microsoft didn't purchase any stuff for the hardware, which makes you wonder, were they going to make hardware? Or was this because if everything was an Xbox and they partnered with other people to make it a handheld device, were they really going to make another box right away? Probably not right away, but they were probably going to make a box, but they weren't planning on making a box this time around because they were pushing everything was an Xbox. And by the way, everything is still an Xbox. They're just not marketing it that way anymore.
So they can just wait it out and maybe delay the PS6 if needed. For Xbox,
in my opinion, they should. All these companies should delay the consoles, because people are not going to pay $1,000. They're not going to pay $1,000 for the next PlayStation 6 or the Xbox stuff, right? They're crazy. Obviously, the 1%ers, the people that are diehard fans, will buy it, but you're not going to get masses of amount of people buying these consoles because they're way too much.
Fans, this feels really chaotic right now, and it's going to feel that way for a while. There will be cost cutting and layoffs. People are going to lose their jobs. And from what I'm hearing, some smaller or niche studios are in real danger. That's a tough reality for a lot of talented developers. And I'm also hearing that the cuts are going to be pretty significant. So the impact is going to be felt across all of Xbox. It's interesting to contrast this with what's happening at Bungie right now. Sony is essentially doubling down on Marathon, their new extraction shooter that hasn't performed all that well.
Which is just weird because, Destiny is much more profitable than Marathon, and yet they're backing Marathon. They have to back Marathon because it's cheaper. That's the only reason.
They're winding down Destiny 2 with no Destiny 3 in the works. Microsoft is taking the exact opposite approach. They're cutting their losses on niche or underperforming titles to protect the bigger platform.
Which is understandable. Hence why South of Midnight, Double Fine, and Ninja Theory are potentially on the chopping block, because they've made 7 games between these 3 studios, and combined total, they're not even profitable.
And the bigger games. Both paths are going to be painful, but they show 2 very different philosophies in a tough market. Some of us questioned the heavy hardware path in 2001, but we picked that direction for a while, and it worked. But the times have changed, and Xbox has to evolve. The studios need to focus on nurturing the talent that they have. They need to make games that are both award-winning and financially successful.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you guys. What is more appealing to you? Award-winning games or really good games? Now, obviously, those can go in hand, because if it's a really good game, it could get a reward. But if it doesn't get an award, does that really matter to you, the gamer? Right? If someone says that this game is bad, but the market has bought the game and they like it, and they're like, man, that's a really good game. Doesn't matter if it wins awards. It doesn't matter to you or me. It does matter for the company. But in this day and age, it doesn't really matter anymore, because Tango Gameworks won an award and then they got shut down. Right? Now you have South of Midnight won a couple of awards, and they're also probably going to get either shut down or let go. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have a successful game that doesn't win awards, or would you rather have an award for a game that gets closed down, the studio shuts down?
That's the opportunity. That's the bet that Asha's making. And I hope it works out because I like competition. It means more choice for gamers.
Somebody taught me a long time ago a very valuable lesson, which is if you do the right things on the top line, the bottom line will follow. And what they meant by that was if you get the right strategy, if you have the right people, and if you have the right culture at your company, you'll do the right products, you'll do the right marketing, you'll do the right things logistically and in manufacturing and in distribution. And if you do all those things right, the bottom line will follow.
In 2000,
what a smart guy he was, right? Steve Jobs. But Laura's right? If you have the talent, and you just, well, first of all, they need to stop running the company by like committee, right? Bring in people that have a full-on strategy. Regardless of what you think of Asha, what you think of Phil, the person leading all of these people is Satya Nadella. He makes all the choices. Even when Sarah Bond was like, everything's an Xbox, don't you think that has to get signed off? Don't you think that has to get signed off? And Satya says, yeah, I like that. Let's go with that. And then as soon as it doesn't work, they fire her. And they're like, what a stupid plan, right? The company-wide is run by these people. It's run by committee. It's run by investors. It's run by all of these people. It's not just Sarah Bond, Phil Spencer made bad calls, or Asha Sharma is saving the company. Shit goes down. When it works, person at the top takes credit. And when it doesn't work, the person at the top gets shit on. That's the way it's supposed to work. Okay. The problem with Xbox is they don't let anything. It's almost like comedic writing in movies today, right? Or not even comedy writing, just writing in general. They don't let anything sit. If they say something, it's something drama, they'll throw in a joke, right? If it's something a joke, then they'll throw in something that's serious. They never let something just sit and stew for a second to see if it lands. They constantly have to keep making the jokes or the drama happen, and they don't let it breathe. They don't let the joke breathe. They don't let the line breathe. They don't let anything breathe. That's the way companies are run now, right? It's like a TikTok mindset where we decided that we were doing this, and they only give it 2 years to try it, and they're like, it didn't work, so they switched again. And then another 18 months go by, not even full 2 years, and like, oh, we got to switch it again. And they're just constantly switching, right? We're about software. Oh, no, it's about the hardware. No, we're doing cloud. No, it's like, settle down. What do you want to do with the company? Where do you want to be? They want to be in all places at once at all times. Why? Because they're trying to make the biggest buck as possible. They got to do the corporate salute. It doesn't matter if it's successful. Again, none of us think about Windows when we say gaming. None of us, right? We are gamers. We play on PC. We play Steam, right? If you're a console gamer, you're playing on PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox. You're not thinking of Windows in any way, shape, or form. But yet, Windows gamers surpass the Xbox gamers. Well, how does that work? Well, I would assume that the people that owned a console back in the day decided they didn't want to buy another console because of the same shit over and over when they could just have one system, one computer where they could play on Steam, they could play on GOG, they could play on Windows, they could play on Epic, and it's just all in one inclusive box, and they can choose as a customer where they want to purchase the game and play the game. But it doesn't matter if it's come 4 different companies, it's on one PC, right? It's convenient for them. So there's 120 million people playing games on Windows on a PC, and there's 28 million people playing games on an Xbox. But yet there's 25 to 30 million people playing Game Pass that's on PC if they own playing through Windows, or if they're getting an Xbox, right? Or if they're on a television set. So you have this, 3 different categories of stuff. You have console, you have cloud, and you have PC, and they're making a shit ton of money. And they're here to tell you that, well, they're not profitable. They've never been profitable. That's what Satya Nadella wants to tell you from last week, that, well, now they can't subsidize. And now Call of Duty is subsidizing to help them out, even though Game Pass itself has been profitable by itself. It makes no sense. something is not adding up in what Xbox is saying, right? Now, I do understand that Microsoft is getting rid of the fat, right? You make a nice steak. We're going to make a food analogy here. Yeah, right? I like eating the fat myself. But a lot of people, they cut off the fat, right? They cut off the fat, and they eat just a lean piece of meat, okay? That's what Xbox is doing. They're trying to get rid of the stuff that's not working, which South of Midnight didn't work. Double Fine's Killing and also Keeper didn't work, right? We're also, what's going on, Real Fake Wizard? They're just trying to cut the fat. And everyone's like, oh, they're so evil. Look, this is business, man. Business is ruthless, okay? They have to keep it afloat, even though they're a $1 trillion company, okay? And they have to move and make sure that what they're doing is profitable, which goes into our next story, right? Which is Bethesda. Okay. Bethesda's rumored to lay off anyone not working on Fallout or Elder Scrolls, I would assume 6, right? Which is, I guess, great, but at the same time, terrible. Because now if all hands are on deck and you're making a game like Fallout or Elder Scrolls, now you're trying to push it, right? You're trying to push one forward, which means you're trying to rush it out the door. All hands on deck. What other company did that in recent times? Oh, that's right. EA with Battlefield 6, right? 5 studios in 4 years rushed together Battlefield 6. Now, some of you would be like, well, Battlefield 6 is a great game. Love Battlefield 6. And then others would look at it and go, well, it's still not fixed, right? Battlefield's back, but fix it, please. Now it's a small little group of people working on it. They've moved on from Battlefield 6. They're making small content for Battlefield 6, and they're starting to make the next Battlefield, right? But all hands on deck to make Battlefield back to what it was. Well, that's what Xbox is doing with their games right now. They're like, well, we need to invest in our big games here. We need to invest in Fallout, and we need to invest in Elder Scrolls 6. Well, now if they put all hands on deck, if you're not working on this, supposedly you're going to be shit canned. Okay, so if you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. We have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as low as $5. So Bethesda rumored to lay off anyone not working on Fallout or Elder Scrolls. So a new rumor, let me make sure you hear that, rumor claims that Bethesda layoffs could target teams not working on Fallout or Elder Scrolls 6, putting studios like Arcane at risk. A new report claims that Microsoft may have layoff plans for Bethesda employees not currently working on Fallout or Elder Scrolls 6. If true, ZeniMax studios such as Arcane could be in trouble, according to an insider. Now, Bethesda layoffs could target teams not working on a Fallout or Elder Scrolls 6. So the rumors of Bethesda layoffs were first reported by Duke Nukem co-creator George, I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name, Brzaunar, who also made surprising claim in a post on X, getting word that the layoffs at ZeniMax have begun. Hurting rumblings recently that cuts may be as much deeper than you expect. However, George also revealed that the layoffs have also been targeted Bethesda and any team not working on Fallout or Elder Scrolls 6. Now, Fallout has to be anything with Fallout, right? Could be Fallout 76, could be a Fallout, the next Fallout 5, could be whatever, right? That's the hot ticket item right now. It says the claim came after Duke Nukem, creator, an exchange with YouTuber Barbaric Throne, replied to an initial report Throne posted, might confirm rumors from yesterday claiming anyone not working on Fallout or Elder Scrolls 6 is out. Okay, so George then confirmed that it was also, is what he also heard, seamlessly collaborating and surprising rumor. So here's a little tweet post here. It says, quote, "Oh, it's that public now. It's exactly what I heard a few days ago. Guess where we're about to see." So George responded, "It sounds like reports of Bethesda having layoffs for anyone not working on the Fallout or Elder Scrolls is something has been making rounds behind the scenes, although it should be pointed that George also stopped short of actually confirming this." Now, this isn't the first time they've also heard reports of Bethesda layoffs. French journalist, which since that time, he came out and said it. Other people came out and said they can't confirm or deny that. So it's like up in the air. That's what he heard, not confirmed. So it says the waves of the industry also claiming that multiple major Xbox studios would also face major layoffs and possible closures. However, also said that Bethesda is one of the teams that would also be impacted. He says, quote, what's happening with Microsoft is just the beginning of a massive bloodbath for studios and owned by publishers. Don't nod. Quantic Dream will also have a lot of layoffs expected in many very well-known studios. It's going to be catastrophic. And if Microsoft really interests, you'll also take a look. If I were you, I was also going to be at id Software, Bethesda Studios, but also BioWare. It says why Trill didn't also specifically further details on Bethesda. It seems that the lineup with the reports of George recently made on X, sadly, if it's accurate, then according to George, Layoff would also have already begun at ZeniMax. So I'm sure we'll hear about that shortly. Also in recent reports that Microsoft Xbox wanted to fast-track Fallout and Elder Scrolls games as the top priority. If this is possible, unfortunate layoffs could be a part of the plan. Hopefully not, because ZeniMax Media was a great studio under it, such as Arcane, Machine Games. Only time will tell how bad the Microsoft Xbox layoffs actually are. However, the veteran insiders have described it as a bloodbath. I always love when they use like war terms for corporate. It's going to be a bloodbath. No one's losing blood. No one's losing blood. Most of these people will have a severance package and stuff. Not that they're saying that they're not going to be hard trying to find the next job. But it's not going to be a bloodbath. Like right now, if you're in the studio and you don't know if you're about to get shit canned or not, you start looking. You start putting feelers out there to see if at least you have some inkling that it could be. Just put some feelers out there. Be like, hey, I don't know if my job's stable, right? If you don't know if your job's stable and you really love working for Bethesda, right? But you're like, I don't know if my job's safe, then if you don't really like working there, you might want to look somewhere else, right? Why take the extra stress? But if you're like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to ride it out. Been with the company for 15 years, 16 years, whatever it is, and see what happens. If you like working there, then continue working there. And then when you get, the papers, then you look somewhere else. I think from a gaming standpoint, I think this is smart, but yet also could be bad, because I think they should focus on the projects like Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6. But at the same time, if they're rushing them out the door, if you're giving them to people that are just doing it because they have to hit a deadline, right? We all know when deadlines are because that's what the deadline is. But if you're pushing it out, and let's say Elder Scrolls 6 wasn't coming out for 2030, but now it comes out in 2028, let's say, right? Because all hands on deck. So for the next 2 years, they're really putting everybody on Elder Scrolls 6, and they get it out the door 2 years early. But the game comes out, and it's just lackluster. It's not the big hit because the expectations are so high and whatnot. Was it worth it? Because if you're putting out a product, and the product doesn't hit what the expectations are, now the expectations are expectations, right? You made Elder Scrolls 5, and people love it. So now when people want to play Elder Scrolls 6, they're going to be like, here's the bar. And if the bar doesn't hit at least where Elder Scrolls 5 was, then you're not going to get Elder Scrolls 6 to that point. Then there's no point of releasing this game. And this is the problem, right? Because they were taking their sweet-ass time with this stuff, but now because of what's happening, and they're doubling down, tripling down, they're like, we're pushing these. This is the priority going forward. Now you're in the stake of rushing them out the door, not making them complete, and then just being broke, buggy, and unfinished, and then tainting the name of the Elder Scrolls series, saying, oh, they're not the same, instead of taking your sweet time. Again, look at Battlefield 6. It came out. It sold a shit ton. It absolutely did. You can't deny that, right? The best-selling game of 2025. It beat Call of Duty. But if you go look at Battlefield 6 now, nobody cares. Yes, they still have 50,000 people a day playing it. They probably have 100,000 people playing it every single day. Made their money up front, but the brand is damaged, right? Battlefield's brand is damaged, and yet they're trying to do a triage to it while they're trying to put more content out for it. And that is the same thing that could happen with the Fallout series. That's the same thing that could happen with the Elder Scrolls series. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think is going to happen now that they're putting it, right? As a fan, you want the next Fallout. You want the next Elder Scrolls. But is this good or bad? It's all hands on deck and trying to rush it out the door. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. All right, chat. Let me see what you guys are doing. We did the video, and also now we did the Bethesda story. They went kind of hand in hand. That's why I did it that way. Let's see here. Scott Wilson says Fortnite's best game of all time. On whose standards? As profitability, as player base? Because obviously Grand Theft Auto 5 is the most profitable piece of entertainment of all time. Let's see. More like Call of Battlefield. That's right. Shadow says, well, sales do matter, like it or not. Sure, they do. But if they mattered and only mattered, then why would they be pushing Battlefield 6 so much to try to revive it, even though they revived Battlefield? Now they're trying to revive Battlefield 6. Jesse says Battlefield 6 is another COD game that makes a way to casual COD players to save for them. Let's see. Let's see. You guys are talking back and forth. Shadow says Bethesda was barely even made anything since Skyrim. I mean, they had Fallout Shelter, right? They've got Starfield. I mean, they made Fallout 76. There was other games in between there, like smaller games, I think, right? Ron says, anyone involved with Starfield needs to go. Starfield most likely just sucked and was boring. But that's my point, right? They were building that up. What if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, they rush out the door, and it just feels like Starfield? It doesn't feel like the old Elder Scrolls. That'd be a problem, wouldn't it? Shadow says, all useless people being fired, no big losses. You would hope, right? I'm sure there's casualties inside there as well. Sarge says they caused for a bloodbath. They hired during a pandemic because, according to them, they needed 30,000 people to make games because they were going to be living in the houses forever. It's very true. They're still firing the people that they hired back in 2020. Jesse Max says if they make Elder Scrolls 6 and rush it out to the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to be worse than good. If they do the production right, that's also going to see until somewhere in 2033. That's my point, right? Their words, not mine. It takes 5 to 7 years to make a game. Well, if they just started 2 years ago and they take the next 3 years, all hands on deck, say like 1,000 people, 1,200 people working on this game to come out, and it comes out like a Fable. Fable's not even out yet. But if Fable flops, do they change direction again? You see what I'm saying? Lower Expectations by Jack Handy. Scott Wilson says they revealed Elder Scrolls 6 in 2018. It was 2019, and the reason they did that, and Todd Howard's on the record of saying this, is because ZeniMax was up for sale. And just like what Xbox did to Ninja Theory by showing Senua out there, was to try to get investors to buy into the company. That's exactly what they did with ZeniMax back then. They showed Elder Scrolls 6. They talked about Starfield. They showed a whole bunch of stuff that year because they were up for sale. They were trying to get the investors to go, oh, look, you got, and then Microsoft bought them shortly after that. Ron says they're copying Sony by releasing one exclusive every year. Well, Xbox had the ability, because they had 28 studios, they could release 4, one a quarter. Shadow says they had many years now to make Elder Scrolls 6, but they just started about 2 years ago because all hands on deck was on Starfield. Aku says GTA is the most profitable, but Minecraft is the largest IP by sales count, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, Minecraft has got something like 320 million copies sold. Grand Theft Auto has 290 million copies sold, but they also sell for double the price, maybe sometimes triple the price of what Minecraft does. So that's why Rockstar considered it the biggest piece of entertainment, but not the best-selling game. Jesse Mack says, ESO just making them more money than ever. Same with GTA 5 Online buying the shark cards. Sarge says ESO must be making them money. Otherwise, it would have Elder Scrolls 6 far earlier. Right. But now they're saying Elder Scrolls Online is not profitable either, or they might be losing their job. And it's like, that is the most profitable game ZeniMax has right now. That and Fallout Shelter, the little mobile game. Ultron says all hands on deck to fill those 1,000 planets to Starfield, right? Right? If they just did the thing that they were supposed to do, right? If you don't need 1,000 people working, again, I'm not going to pretend to know how many people they need for a video game, but if No Man's Sky, if Hello Games with a team of 14 to 20 people can make No Man's Sky, and again, it's been 16 years total. 6 years of development time leading up to when they released, and 10 more years after as they fixed basically the game, right? It took them 16 years, but it's 20 people. You would hope that 100 people, 150, 400, 800, 1,000 people could make something faster. But it doesn't seem that way, right? It seems like the more people they add, the slower they are, which doesn't make sense, right? And obviously, Sean Murray, they had a lot of problems with No Man's Sky. Their studio got flooded while they were making the game. They had to move and a whole bunch of other stuff. Again, there's only 14 of them when they made the game. And you look at, Expedition 33, or you look at Pal World, and you look at, there's these studios that can make these games, and they don't need thousands of people like Ubisoft or EA. All right, the next story we'll talk about is CD Projekt Red thinks Cyberpunk 2077 failure hasn't fully recovered. Now, again, we haven't read the article yet. I'm assuming based on the title, they're talking about the recovery of what happened, right? When the guy did the ransom video where he came out, the lead at the time was like, it looked like he was being a terrorist had him. They're like, make an apology. And he's like, I'm so sorry for what we have done, right? When you can like CD Projekt Red, you can like, Cyberpunk 2077. You can say Cyberpunk is the greatest game you've ever played. That's all true for you. But the reality is when the game came out, it was broke, buggy, and unfinished. It got draked across the coals, okay? And they had problems. Stock crashed. Took them 2.5, 3 years to fix the problem that it was, okay? People were getting refunds for the game. And now they fixed it. Okay. That's all there. Even I've said the Witcher series. Okay. I'm not buying the Witcher series when it comes out because they have to prove to me now they can release a game that's not broke, buggy, and unfinished at launch. Right. You make the game, you sell the game, I buy the game and play the game. If your game is unplayable or it has massive problems like Cyberpunk did, then I'm not going to play it. Now, I haven't played Cyberpunk 2077 at all. I own the game. Okay. When it came out, it was broke, buggy. One of my mods bought it for me. It was very, very nice. Okay. I've never played it. Everyone tells me you should play it. It's a fantastic game, but I've moved on. I played other games. I own it. I can play it anytime I want. I can play it when I'm 50. I can play it when I'm 60. I own the game. I can play the game, but I choose not to not because the game is bad, because the company that said that they weren't going to release a broken, buggy game like the other people, and they were talking about Bethesda with Fallout 76, they said that their game wasn't going to be like that. They said that they weren't going to do that, and they were making fun of it, and then they did. They did the thing they said they weren't going to do. And trust goes a really long way. And if I don't trust you, then I don't care. Now, see, I wouldn't have bought the game, but it was gifted to me. So I own the game, and I can play it when I choose, but I wouldn't have bought it. So I choose not to play it, and I don't care if it's the greatest game ever. I choose because CD Projekt Red fumbled the ball, and I don't trust them. Until I get my trust back, which is the same with Marvel, which is the same as Star Wars, which is the same as anything else. They have to show me something good before I trust them again. Well, we can talk about Splitgate, Ron. They have a new game coming out. All right. So if you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. Cover news stories, give you my thoughts and opinions, get your thoughts and opinions as well. So CD Projekt Red thinks their Cyberpunk 2077 failure hasn't fully recovered. In 2020, CD Projekt Red, the creator of Witcher line of games, released Cyberpunk 2077. Right, and quickly became a brand as one of the worst games ever made, purely because it was such a buggy mess. Right, fraught with glitches, optimization issues, and game-breaking pitfalls, was also so bad it faced investor lawsuit. Okay. Now, if that doesn't tell you, now if you are a trash knight in our chat, meaning if you're a person that defends a game, you love it, but you're defending it because you're just not paying attention to any of this. Okay. This tells you there was investor lawsuits because of this. Okay. Fast forward to now, and Cyberpunk 2077 is regarded as one must-play game that everyone should experience, and took hundreds of millions of dollars to recover it. Unfortunately, the head honcho of CD Projekt Red still feels that almost 6 years later, the pain for Cyberpunk failure hasn't left the minds of gamers. He would be 100% correct, right? At least he understands. Before going any further, though, all right, we're not doing that. Okay, has Cyberpunk 2077 redeemed itself? CD Projekt Red isn't sure. In a recent interview with Edge for the Knowledge newsletter, co-CEO of CD Projekt Red, Michael Nowalski, sat down to talk about the company's redemption arc. And beyond Cyberpunk 2077, is no big secret that the studio worked extremely hard to renovate Cyberpunk 2077, but it was also an incredibly tough journey for all involved. Now, Michael said he reflected the heartbreak that surrounded the game's launch, which has also forever marred the studio image to left fans with the company with the sour taste in their mouths, which is 100%, right? Even if the potential is to ever so slightly derail the impending release of Witcher 4, but fans are anticipating something as a deja vu moment. Now, this is exactly how you should treat a company, right? Like, think of a breakup. If someone does something bad to you, are you going to trust that person again? Are you going to just forgive them? I mean, yes, you can forgive them, but in the back of your mind, if your friend stole something from you and then you forgive them, in the back of the mind, if something goes missing again, who are you thinking of? You're probably thinking of the person that stole it from the first time. And you might be, assuming something that didn't happen, but probably 9 times out of 10, the person that stole it was the same person that stole it the first time. Hence why you've lost trust in that person, which damages relationships. Same with people that bought this game, that paid hard-earned money, $60, $70, $80, $100 to buy a game, and the game was broke, buggy, and unfinished. It left a sour taste in their mouth, and they're like, yeah, not again. That is learning. That's actually good. The people that actually learn this way and think this way, this is exactly how you should treat a company. You shouldn't blindly give your money to a company because they're coming out with the next Witcher. Well, Witcher was good. It was called the Glitcher for a reason. Glitcher 3 was very glitchy. Okay, was it unplayable? For some, okay, but CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk 2077 was even worse than the Glitcher 3. So now The Witcher 4 comes out, and now you're wondering to yourself, they can't do it again, can they? Well, this is why you don't pre-order. This is why you don't buy day one. This is why you wait and see how the game performs and sees, because there's so many other people that could play the game and tell you it's good, it's bad, it's whatever, before you actually give up that money. It says, I'm not 100% convinced we went through the full redemption arc. I'm convinced that we lost the faith in some people indefinitely, and that's a fair thing. But I do hope that we will be able to make it back to not with The Witcher 4, then with whatever comes next. Now, see, this guy's pretty smart. He sees the writing on the wall. He's like, The Witcher 4 might bring some people back. And if we do the best thing that we've ever made, and Witcher 4 becomes the greatest game that we've ever created up to this point, that will win a lot of people. That will win a lot of goodwill back. But there'll still be people that are like, yeah, I'm not going to deal with this. Not just yet. You haven't won my trust back yet. He took a little deep dive into a 10-year roadmap that the studio has, packed with a slate of top-tier titles, with hopefully take better shape than the Legarie 2020 open world shooter. Now, Michael addressed the state of the industry right now, even with the optimistic outlook, as the fine repositioning of the games being lined up. He says there are an unprecedented number of games being launched every year, and the fight for attention is tougher than we ever was. In the end, whether you can continue making games largely depends on whether or not you were successful enough to fund another project of your own. That is correct. Make a game, sell a game. Once you sell that game, you can make your next game if it's successful. Look at Palworld. Look at Expedition 33. Look at Helldivers 2, right? These companies are just a few that have made a game, made so much money they can actually go fund their next game. Cuphead, same type of thing, right? Vampire Survivor. It says whether it's successful or not to fund another project of its own. If you're lean and cheap, you're able to really target a group that you want to live off of that, and then you're in a good spot. He says, for many years, Cyberpunk 2077 absolutely became one of the most important games ever made. It's not for how it eventually shaped up, but how it was also a testament to the dedication and resilience of the studios hell-bent on not letting the project fail. It might have cost hundreds of millions of dollars to bring back to life, but the consciousness is what it was also the money is well spent. Now, this is another good thing here where we look at the budget of what Cyberpunk was, and if they just took the amount of time and the right amount of time and the right amount of money, they could have made it right the first time. But instead, they put more money into it to fix the game, to get it to a point where it should have been in the first place. So they spent way more money. So the budget of Cyberpunk is way higher than it was when it came out at launch, just to fix it. And this is another thing, right? Upper management in these companies is not doing their job correctly because they're letting things slide. They're letting things go to the wayside, and it hurts the product overall. And then they have to go back 2 years, 3 years, and fix the mistakes they made when they could have made these mistakes or fixed these mistakes before it launched originally. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Where are you? Where do you stand with companies in general and also with CD Projekt Red? Are you a person that's, you're going to forgive them right away and you're going to play Witcher 4, no questions asked? Or are you going to sit there and go, you know what? I'm going to wait and see the way Witcher 4 comes out or whatever the next thing they show. And when they earn your money, then you'll give them your money. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, check out some other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let's see here. Shadow says, they only bought the game again after it went on sale cheap. Sarge says, come on, bro. They don't care. CD Projekt 2077 sold so many copies, it didn't even matter. It was broken. They got their number. Correct, but it's the same thing as sort of like Battlefield 6, right? They made their money back, but they've done irreparable damage to the actual brand. Shadow says with the back catalogs, can't blame them. Right, that's why make a game, sell a game. Right? Make a game, sell a game. Now, make a game has a whole bunch of stuff that includes into make a game. Sell a game is a whole bunch of stuff and just saying sell a game. But the premise is make the game. What goes into making a game, make that thing. And once you're done making the game and it's complete, done, and to your best ability, and you think it's the best thing that could ever be made, and you're happy with it, then you send it out and you sell that game. Once it sells, that's it, right? People buy it and go, we love what you put into this game. We love that the amount of love and tender care that you put into this game. We love it. We bought it. They show it. They support it, right? Now, they're not supporting the devs. The devs got paid, right? You're just supporting the studio. And if the studio makes money, then they make another game, right? It might be the game you want. It might not be the game that you want. Look at what happened to Bungie. People love Destiny. They bought Destiny. They bought the microtransactions for Destiny. And yet, Destiny's closing and Marathon is running. So people that love Destiny played Destiny, bought stuff in Destiny, and Bungie decided they were going to make Marathon. That's a betrayal type of thing, right? Because they're like, if we support Destiny, not even just what's happening now, just over the years, if we support Destiny, Destiny will get Destiny 3. Well, that's not what's happening right now. Shadow says Cyberpunk is a decent game, but nowhere near what they promised we were getting. Still, some people say it's still not to that point, but it's really, really close. Aldante says this is why we're making Witcher 3 DLC to try to gain goodwill before Witcher 4. Right. It's a small sampling, which they're also, I think, kind of burning the bridge a little bit because the other dramatic point of this for Witcher anyway is that even though the story pushes it towards the girl character, right? They're pushing back sort of like what's happening with God of War right now. That's what's happening with The Witcher. We'll see a completely different drama happening with The Witcher 3 DLC going into Witcher 4. Jesse Mack says, without Geralt, it's not even Witcher anymore. Shadow says, not a fan of Ciri becoming Witcher when she herself is way more powerful than one of them. You see what's happening, right? After what you just said, Al Dente, I just said what I said, and now the next two comments are exactly the same, right? They're like, I don't know. Right, same will happen. Same thing happened to Battlefield 6, right? Jesse Max says, Siri is a powerful witch, not a witcher. What's going on, Ashraf? I bet Cyberpunk is closer to expectations than Starfield is. I bet Cyberpunk is closer to expectations than Starfield is. Well, technically it's not, Ashraf, because what they promised Cyberpunk to be at launch, it was nowhere close. At least Todd said there's 1,000 planets, and there is 1,000 planets with nothing to do. I mean, he was much more closer telling you what his vision was than what Cyberpunk was. Saint says, heck, the Destiny Eververse was supposed to bring us extra content. That's right. That's the reason you got the extra content, because the Eververse store, if you paid into Destiny, it was going back into Destiny. But they couldn't keep up with that. People were just spending way too much money. They didn't know what to spend it on, so they decided to make a completely different game. It's gonna be really interesting in the next, I want to say about the next 18 months, right? Next 18 months could be very interesting to see, because when Grand Theft Auto comes out at the end of this year in November, and it just starts to destroy internally, right, the gaming industry. Because what's going to happen with Grand Theft Auto is that if the prices, and we're going to talk about the prices in a second, right, if it is a $80, $90 game, that signals to everybody else, because when people see an $80, $90, $100 video game for Grand Theft Auto, they're going to buy Grand Theft Auto. And then that's going to send a signal to everybody else going, oh, look, they can sell a $100 video game standard, so we can too. And that's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens, because the industry then sees it. So the games that are being made right now, the Witcher 4s, the Elder Scrolls 6s, the Fallout 5s, okay?
Wolverine
when they see
is not far, 84 days for me.
Thank you very much for the $2 super chat, right? So when they see, right, when they see the $100 video game selling, all these new games that are coming out next year, the year after, they're like, we can get $100 for that. It's gonna be a hell of a show. Sarge says, if Starfield was a space real estate game, it would have been fantastic. You could have become a trillionaire. I think if they just turned Starfield into what No Man's Sky did, where you could be multiplayer and you could build a base on the 1,000th planet and other people could visit your bases, I don't think anyone would have a problem. I'll be honest with you. I don't think anyone would have a problem. Give me 1 second. All right, give me a couple minutes here. I'm gonna go make some breakfast for my son. You guys can listen to a new fun song. It's called the Satya Nadella Shuffle. It's called the Nadella Shuffle. I'll play this so you guys can hear it, and then we'll be back in just a little bit to talk about more gaming news. Be right back.
All right, y'all. Put your spreadsheets in the air. Put your Game Pass subscriptions in the air. We're going to learn a brand new dance. It's called the Nadella Shuffle. The Nadella Shuffle. Satya walked into the boardroom, said, I got a master plan. The executive started clapping, but nobody understands. One day it's all exclusives, next day they're everywhere. Now Indiana Jones is packing for another platform's air. But Activision Blizzard spent billions on the dream. Now everybody's asking, what exactly does this mean? The gamers keep on watching, trying to read the signs, but the roadmap changes faster than the quarterly guidelines. Move to the left, why? Move to the right, why? Change direction overnight. Right. Do the Nadella Shuffle. Which way we going? Nobody knows. Do the Nadella changes, but the buzzwords stay the same. Game Pass is the future. No wait, it's AI too. No wait, it's every platform. No wait, we got something new. The fans are doing math now, trying to connect the dots. While Satcha keeps on shuffling the cards he's already got. Take a step to the cloud. Take a step to PC. Take another pivot now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do the Nadella shuffle. Shuffle. Which way we going? Nobody knows. Do the Nadella shuffle. Shuffle. What's the strategy? Check the next show. Buy a studio. All right. Close a studio. Wait, what? Buy another studio. That's hot. Exclusives? Maybe. Game Pass? Maybe. Cloud gaming? Maybe. Console wars? Maybe. What's the plan? Nobody knows. What's the roadmap? Nobody knows. What's the strategy? Nobody knows. What's tomorrow? Nobody knows. What's tomorrow? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Do the Nadella shuffle. Shuffle. Round and round we go. Round we go. Woo! Do the Nadella shuffle. Shuffle. Following the latest flow. Latest flow. 25 years later. Say it again. Still trying to find the answer. Where's the win? Everybody dancing. Can't sit still. Trying to follow Xbox's will. Good luck with that. Now slide to the cloud. Slide to the console. Slide to PlayStation. Wait. PlayStation. The Nadella shuffle. Nobody knows. Do the Nadella shuffle. Nobody knows.
All right. Did you guys like the Nadella shuffle? Oh, my camera always keeps changing. It's exactly what they're doing, Water. It's exactly right. This is why I wrote the song. They have no fucking idea what they're doing. Yeah, they have no idea what they're doing. They're like, let's do this. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Let's do that one. Let's go on, Mo. All right. Let's talk about Grand Theft Auto. Okay. Grand Theft Auto, reliable insider thinks that GTA 6 could make $1 billion from pre-orders in the first hour. Now, we were just talking about this, right? We were just talking about how if this comes out and they charge $100 and people eat up the $100, because obviously people are excited for Grand Theft Auto, right? It's been 13 years, 14 years since the last Grand Theft Auto came out. So people are excited to play Grand Theft Auto. So regardless if the game is good or bad, we could be in another situation where we have a Cyberpunk 2077 on our hands. Or Rockstar took its time. 18-month delay, we do know that. That's official from Strauss Zelnick himself. He said the 18-month pushback. Okay, so 18-month delay. So they've delayed it. They pushed it back 1 year, and then they pushed it back another, 6 months or whatever. So 18-month delay. Maybe they polished it. Maybe it's the best thing that you'll ever play in your entire life, or it could be Cyberpunk 2077. Who knows? Only time will tell. Okay, so a reliable insider has predicted that Grand Theft Auto 6 could make $1 billion from its upcoming pre-orders in just the first hour. And that would also be an easy task, okay? With how little Rockstar has actually shown of us about GTA 6 since it's first announced, As no surprise, it'll also have a lot of questions about it, from the price of how the dual characters gameplay will work. And there's also one thing that pretty much no one else in the world has questioned in all of that time, though, is whether or not GTA 6 will be a success. Okay. Now, even with the smaller console market the previous GTA game have had work with, the power of both Rockstar and GTA means that Jason and Lucia journey through all the guaranteed and massive hit. But our first taste of that bound will come when the pre-orders start in just a few days. And one insider has even predicted easy $1 billion in the first hour alone. 100%. Especially if your game is charged at $100, right? Especially if it's $100. Tom Henderson thinks that GTA 6 will make $1 billion in its first hour of pre-orders. I don't even doubt it at this point, right? Because the hype is just so high. It says, as pointed out in the Rockstar Intel, Insider Gaming Editor-Chief Tom Henderson recently discussed how much money Rockstar might make off GTA 6 pre-orders on the latest episode of the Insider Gaming podcast. After highlighting GTA 6 potential to sell consoles, Henderson points out that GTA 5 was able to make $1 billion in profit in 3 days back in a pre-order open. Right? That's 15 years ago. Now, with the figure in mind, Henderson suggests that it'll be easy for GTA 6 to make $1 billion from its pre-orders in just the first hour, knowing that this is more of a cultural event than the game launch itself. While it's also frankly unbelievable for any game, let alone at the launching of its rough time for the industry, GTA 6 is easily the most anticipated game of all time and basically free to do so whatever it wants. So, if Rockstar is smartly releases Trailer 3 alongside pre-orders, it's going to get people even more excited, and there's a very good chance the momentum pushes GTA 6 to even higher level of hype than before. 100% this is what they're going to do, right? There's definitely going to be a new trailer. They're not just going to drop and go pre-orders are open. They're going to put a trailer and then pre-orders are going to open. Bungie is great at this when they did their trailers for Destiny and stuff. They hype you up, man. You're like not even interested in it. You see the trailer and you're like, oh my God, I want to play that, right? Now, it says how much money GTA 6 is likely to make. With the investment bank, he suggests 46 million copies sold on day one. That's insane, by the way. 46 million copies in day one. If you sell 20 million copies, you are probably the best-selling game of the year. Okay, 46 million. All right. So $1 billion, right? $1 billion. Let's go to if they make $1 billion in the first hour, by the way, $1 billion divided by, let's say, $80 game. That's only 12 million copies. That's only 12 million copies. I know I'd say only, but for Grand Theft Auto, 12.5 million copies in the first hour is 100% doable, right? Again, we've been saying this for years, that Grand Theft Auto, when it comes out, will sell or beat pre-orders, will beat day one, week one, month one, and year one. And they can all do that in the pre-order spot. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they can make 46 million pre-orders, and no one else buys it because all the people buying it are the people that want the game. They're all going to pre-order the game. Obviously, that's not going to happen because other people are going to buy it afterwards, right? And then people are going to buy it a second time when it comes to PC. And they know this. So it's going to be very interesting. Now, there is a rumor. Let me see if I can find the actual... I posted it in Discord earlier. Now, again, this is leaked. This is not a viable, official price in any way, shape, or form. This is literally just someone posted it, and I said, I hope this is not true. It could be true, but we'll see. Let me... I posted it last night. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so on X yesterday, it says GTA price leaked. Okay, standard edition, $89.99. Deluxe edition, $109.99. Premium edition, $129.99. And collector's edition, $199.99. Now, down here, it does say Rockstar Games has not officially announced the pricing for Grand Theft Auto. Okay, while pre-orders are scheduled to begin on June 25th, any listed price at this stage, unofficial, retailer placeholders, or speculation, right? I'm just putting it out there because there's always people that watch this and go, that's not the price, dirty. I understand that. I can read. Okay. But let's have a conversation, right? Let's have a conversation. Standard edition, $89.99. I guess it's not $100, right? I guess it's not $100. But a $90 video game. Maybe Grand Theft Auto knows they're going to go 90. Because if they go 80, it ruins the industry because other games can then not hit 80. You see what I'm saying? But if they go to 90, and now they're the $90 video game, then the other ones that want to be 80, they can still be 80 because they don't have, right? They don't have that price. They're supposed to be the EU prices. It might be. It might not. We're talking about what's in front of us right now, right? Maybe the standard edition goes up. It doesn't say in pounds, by the way. Does it say pounds? It doesn't say pounds, right? It's using the dollar sign. So I'm going to speak what I see, which is the dollar sign, not the pound sign. Okay. So if the game is $90, do they push it up to $90? Because they're like, well, if we make it 80, then nobody else can come to 80. But if we go to 90, everybody can still go to the 80. The floor rises because of that. Now, again, if people buy the $90 version of this game, it's going to send shockwaves through the actual thing, regardless what it is. If it's a $60 game, if it's a $70 game, $80 game, $90 game, $100 game, whatever the price point is for Grand Theft Auto is going to send a shockwave through the industry, because they have to then either move the prices down for every game, whatever Grand Theft Auto does, okay? Because, again, this is the biggest game that's coming out in the last decade and a half. And if they come out at $60, what does that mean for everybody else? Remember what happened to Silksong? Silksong came out and put it at $20. And all the other people that had $20 video games was like, it's not fair, because how can we put our game at $20 now? Do you see what I'm saying? Silksong was like, yeah, this is the game we wanted. This is the price point we want. Everybody else is like, well, now we can't charge $20 because our game is not like that. So sad. Too bad. Okay? You can still charge $20 for your game, but if it doesn't come any close to what Silksong is giving you for $20, then you might not want to charge $20. It's whatever perceived value of the person that's buying your game. Okay? Now, if you're in the same type of game market as Silksong and your game comes out and it's nowhere near the quality or anything towards it, well, then you might not want to part with $20 for the customers, right? So now we have Grand Theft Auto comes out. They make the choice of whatever it is. Okay? I'm not going to tell you what the price is because we don't know. But if it's $90, $100, this is going to be irreparable damage to the industry for us, the gamers. Okay, you don't want a high price from Grand Theft Auto. You want a normal price. They come out at $70, then it all stays the same. But if it comes out at $80, $90, $100, then Witcher 4 comes out, that's going to be a $100 video game. The next Madden will be a $100 video game. The Fable will come out and be a $100 video game, because that is the standard that people were buying for this. Now, is it going to work in their favor? Probably not, because people are not buying $80 video games right now, or $70 video games, let alone $100 video games. But they don't hear that part. They just hear that they sold this many. Did you hear how many they sold? They made $1 billion in the first hour. They made $4 billion in the first hour. And that is what the tempo is going to be set now for the game industry. So, again, I know you guys want to pre-order because you've been waiting 13 years and you can't wait 14. Okay? This is exactly why we don't pre-order. And this goes for AAA games, by the way, right? No pre-orders, no day ones, no full price for a half-ass game. We've not seen anything of gameplay-wise for this. We saw cinematic trailers, right? They're going to show you trailers. You're going to get hype. You're going to buy it, okay? But again, if you don't want another Cyberpunk on your hands, then don't reward them before it actually comes out. We set the prices. The consumers set the prices. For some strange reason, people think that we have no say in this. We have all the say in this. And you get the exact same game. Instead of paying $100, you can pay $70. You can pay $60. You can pay $50. Okay? I'm not saying don't buy the game. I'm saying don't pre-order the game, because as the pre-orders don't sell, then they look at it and go, well, what's happening here? People don't want to buy a $90 video game. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Obviously, this is the this is the outlier. No matter what I say or what people say, people are going to go out and buy this day one. They're going to pre-order because it's just what it is. But if you don't care, then I don't care that you don't care. Okay. But if you're one of the people that actually cares about the industry and where it's going and how to fix it, well, then you can't buy or pre-order games on day one. All right. Again, my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. All right. Mr. Luke says if it's $89.99, it might be $85.99. The next FIFA is probably going to be $79.99 this year. What's going on, Mr. Luke? Saw Mr. Z earlier. What's going on, Mr. Z? Ashraf says we're the consumers' protection agencies when we need them the most. Well, if you want protection, then don't buy the game, right? There are no agencies. We are the agencies. We are our own agencies. Sarge says, I can't wait. I've been waiting. We'll still be waiting for the smoke to clear. Laura says, this is basically the Michael Jordan of gaming. What other game clears out the entire month? Right? Right. This is the GOAT. Doesn't even improve itself. Just walks into the room. Mr. Luke says, I won't be getting GTA till year 3 or 4, like the last one. On sale. I am not getting it day one, I can tell you. I'm not going to get it day one. Maybe I get it month 1, but I want the smoke to clear, as Sarge just said, right? I want to see if it works well. Hell, I could get it week 1, but obviously I'm not pre-ordering it. I'm not getting it day 1. I want to see how people talk about it. I want to see people say, oh yeah, the writing's fantastic. It's just like the old Grand Theft Autos, right? Rockstar didn't miss a beat. Fantastic. Again, I waited 13 years. Right? I waited. My son's 11. Okay? He'll be 12. Right? I've waited his whole life. I can wait 1 more year before I buy the game. Jesse Max says 30. If Rockstar is going against the Bank of America, said to put in $70. Waterbear says, I'm not taking a second look if it's 30 frames per second. I'll wait for the real version, a.k.a. the PC version. I'll wait 13 years and another 1 or 2. Mo says, I'll play it when it comes to Game Pass. Yeah, probably like 2 years, I would say. Let's see. Travis says 30. Even if it says $89.99, that's fine. I have other good games I'll play. Didn't cost that much. That's simple. Right? There's a whole list of catalogs. Hell, I'll be honest with you. I haven't gone back to Crimson Desert. I want to go back to Crimson Desert. Okay. But Crimson Desert, I have about 170 hours in. Okay. When Grand Theft Auto comes out, if Crimson Desert has like an update, DLC, or whatever, I mean, I'm only halfway through the game. When this game comes out in November, maybe I'll play Crimson Desert. Because I have plenty of time. I have plenty of games I can play. I have plenty of games I already own that I haven't finished. Like, who knows? Shadow says, I only care about the single player, so I can wait years. Sarge says, I'll also be waiting for a while for that, Mo. Yeah, probably about 2 years, I would say. Ford says, I'll play it never. Last GTA game I played was Vice City. In my opinion, best one, Ford. Keep that memory. Vice City was the best one. This could be that best one because it's Vice City again. But Rogue says the internet will break on release day with everyone trying to download it all at once. Very true. El Dente says I have 26 hours in Crimson Desert. Travis says rumor is Crimson Desert is getting DLC expansion around November. Now see, that's smart. Sarge says, if the bank wants a $70 product, that means they'll invest directly into Rockstar banks. Don't ever say shit about games ever. Yeah, Vice City is the best. The music, just the whole feel about it, it's great. Vice City is the best Grand Theft Auto. I don't care about 4 or 5. I know people like this game. Vice City, to me, man, is just amazing. Even with San Andreas having all those other features in it, I loved Vice City. Vice City would just hit me home, like hit home with me. Probably because it was in my home state, but you know. Jason says, I'm trying to sell my copy of CD. Couldn't get into it. Oh, of Cyberpunk? Oh, Crimson Desert. You're saying Crimson Desert. No one wants it? It sold 5 million copies. I'm sure there's someone out there that'll take it. Altern says, no, the best one was GTA San Andreas. You were able to make him fat, thin, muscled that. No, I agree. I like the mechanics that you could do in that game, but Vice City, just the whole package was great. Vice City is my GTA. Waterbear says it's supposed to be a mix of Vice and San Andreas with an RPG element, but we will see. Eclipse says, and you could also buy businesses. This is why I'm excited for this one, because I heard you can do that again. Oh, can you buy businesses in this one? Oh, well, I still won't pre-order. Yeah, I remember playing one with the I think Vice City on PSP. Was that something else? That might have been Chinatown. There was one on PSP. I think that was Chinatown. Was it Vice City? I don't even know. I didn't play any of those other ones off the main systems. Clip says 6 million right now. Nice. All right. I want the next GTA to take place in outer space. Well, it wouldn't be. Would that be considered still Grand Theft Auto? I guess it would, right? The spaceship's pretty grand. Clip says, no, there were stories, Vice City stories. Those were different, though. No, Ballad of Gay Tony was episode 4. So it was Grand Theft Auto 4. Ballad of Gay Tony and Lost the Biker Gang. I forget the Biker Gang. Those were for 4. Mr. Luke says Vice City was so good they sold the Radio Stallion as a CD in a store. Yeah, so good. Vice City was the only one with 100% because I got the T-shirt in a game. It's pinky and says 100%. Have GTA make the next Starfield. You know, speaking of, I really wish Star Wars Outlaws was a better game. That had huge potential. Excuse me. That had huge potential. Lost the Dam. That's it. Ron says Gay Tony would not be acceptable in society today. I mean, I think it would. Oh, you're saying if they announced it today, like if they announced Gay Tony, they'd be like, it's woke. Yeah, they probably, 100%. Best DLC Rockstar's ever made is for Red Dead Redemption 1, the zombies. Undead Nightmares was the best DLC. You know, I kind of want to watch Destin Legarie. Destin Legarie had a video last week. I think it was like Thursday, Friday. Let me see if I can get his channel. Okay, this one is from 3 days ago. Let me
all in at once, and
this is a long one, right? So this will be the rest of the show. Let me get Destin's channel in the description. Okay, I watched this video. I watched the entire video, but I want to watch it again. But I'm gonna give some of my thoughts and process of this. Right, I thought this was fantastic because Destin worked for IGN, okay? Destin worked for IGN, and in my humble opinion, when he worked for IGN, I met him and had conversations with him at GCX, right? Way back when. Okay, we had a conversation. I don't know if he remembers the conversation and stuff, but I like Destin. Destin's a nice guy, right? Back then, he, I think, just met his wife. Well, at that point, was his girlfriend, right? Or fiance or whatever. And since that time, you know, he's grown up, got a wife, now has kids, and his vision has shifted and changed, obviously, which is fine, right? When he was with IGN, you would hear him kind of protect certain things and say certain things because he was at IGN. He never really like goes off on anybody, okay? He read a Twitter post and went down the rabbit hole, and then in this video, it says this is they need to stop doing this, which is a terrible take, basically, what he's saying of the person that posted it, and this is what needs to stop, and this is his commentary on that, okay? His complete vision has changed, at least in my opinion, of my vision of Destin from what he was to what he is, and obviously he's grown and whatnot. Things change, times change. I like this Destin, right? Not that I didn't like Destin before, but I like this Destin because it feels like this Destin has kind of like woken up out of a coma, okay? That's not a dig on him in any way, shape, or form. He just sees the way others are reporting on the news and their takes and stuff like that. And he's just kind of fed up with it. And I thought it was great, right? I think it's great. So we're going to watch this. And if it's a little too slow, we'll speed it up. But this is Destin Legarie. They need to stop doing this. All right, so here we go.
Legendary crash out over on X, just about where we're at in the video game industry and the layoffs. Now, some of his points I agree with. I'm going to talk about those. But there's a whole lot I do not.
Again, since Destin, it's been, I think, a year since he left IGN and went completely solo on his own. Right? He made a lot of contacts in the industry and stuff like that. It just feels like he's finally, I don't know what it is. I'm going to just say it's age. I'm going to say it's age. Wisdom comes with age, right? And I think he's at this point and he's completely changed, or he's at that point where it's completely changing him.
Agree with. And instead of tweeting about it, I just thought I would make a video walking through my reaction to his post. JP Kellums is I have no idea who he is, but here's a picture of him on a yacht. He is formerly of Epic Games, Harmonix, EA, Madden, NFL, Platinum Games, and Capcom official.
So this guy he's commenting on is a person that's been in the industry for quite some time. Taking a picture on a yacht. I don't know if it's his yacht, if he's on a friend's yacht, he's on vacation, but his pictures of a yacht.
If you look him up, you can find he has worked on games like Bayonetta and, you know, several other games that have likely made a healthy amount of money. And he is credited here, founder of Synesthesia LLC. Anyway, he's rich, right? Here's what he says. Video games are not a charity. They aren't art you hang up in a museum. We don't have billionaire patrons who will pay $200 million for a vanity project. These things need to be commercially viable, but too many in the enthusiast media, influencers among them, have spent so long tearing everything down, DLC, microtransactions, loot boxes, AI, etc., that they've created a huge rift between the economics of the industry and player expectations.
I have a lot to say. I'm going to let him say his part, and then I'll comment on that comment as well.
You know, you had us in the first half, and then you start talking about DLC and microtransactions, and no one's going to have your back on that. So tell me, who is going to buy a business?
Okay, real quick. I thought he was going to go into it. Okay, so he talks about it's not a piece of art, but it is art. But it's not a piece of art like you sell, where you're getting someone to pay you, one person to pay you $200 million. But yet, he brings up DLCs, microtransactions, loot boxes, AI, etc. Okay, which that 100% goes that route. This is why people make video games for mobile phones, and they have Krakens and whales and whatever you want to call them, where they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on your piece of art. Okay, they're selling $150, $500 pieces of skins, customization skins for certain games, right? So he says that he says that the influencers among them have spent so long tearing down everything that the economics of the industry and the players' expectations. No, the players' expectations are set by you, the content creators of the game, not the content creators of YouTube. Okay, if you create a game, and let's talk about Skyrim, right? Starfield, right? You look at the last game they made and then the next game they made, and the bar is set. They're like, oh my God, can you imagine if Bethesda, if BioWare, if Gears, whoever's making the next game, their last game was amazing. They show what the next game is. They show the graphics. They tell you the gameplay. They show you all the stuff. They tell you all the things that you want to hear. And then we comment on it. That is not us making the expectations. That's you making the expectations, saying it's going to be the best thing you've ever created, which is, here's the bar. If you're over this, then my expectations are, oh my God, I had so much fun on the last thing I played from you guys. Then we get this one. Then we get Cyberpunk 2077, right? At launch. We get Fallout 76 at launch type of stuff. It's like that expectation's not set by me. That's set by you guys by making the graphics better and the gameplay and talking about all the stuff, right? That's on you, the developer.
It's running at a 3% contribution margin to leave loss-making studios open. In case this gorgeous idea of AA, where everyone just says Claire Obscure and then can't say anything else, magically starts printing money, if that actually worked, everyone would already be doing it. The industry needs to reset its cost structures, and to do so, it's going to incur a lot of pain on places that don't actually make money. And y'all need to put a mirror in front of yourselves when you ask why. Yes, I am the reason that all those studios are closing.
Right. I'm sorry, I can't spend my multi-millions of dollars to spend on every single... If I gave every dollar that I earned to every homeless person I saw on the streets, I would also be a homeless person on the streets. You see what I'm saying? Of course it's our fault. It's also our fault when you succeed, right? When a game company succeeds or fails, it's because the customers didn't buy, or they did pay for your stuff.
You got me. It's me. It's 100% me. Because you'll be staring right at a big reason. You've taken a particular glee at tearing down the industry over the past 3 to 5 years, and now you are surprised at what you see. I never said I was surprised. Oh, I agree with you that the cost structures have been out of control. But that's not my fault. Let's take a look at the South of Midnight Studio Compulsion. They have 110 employees at LinkedIn, so I'm going to have his back on this one. This cost structure does not make sense. That's about $100,000 a year, US dollars, average burn rate per employee.
That's way high. $100,000 burn rate. Remember, Jason Schreier, we watched his video. He said on average 15 to 20,000 per person is the average. Yet South of Midnight, 110 employees, $100,000 per year. Or I'm sorry, average burn rate. Okay. $1 million per month. $14 million per year. That's way, way high.
100K, right? That's $1.19 million per month. That's $14.3 million per year. Active dev in 2021, releases in 2025. That is $71.5 million total cost based on some napkin math burn rate that I put together based on Jason Schreier's numbers. He put out, why are games so expensive to make? Sales, well, we only know that they hit 1 million players 1 month after release at $40. Let's be
generous and give them that, right? Let's give them generous and give them the million players is actual sales.
Let's be super generous here and say every single one of those $40 purchases were sales. They have managed to lose $31.5 million
right.
on...
And we all know that they didn't sell all those games. I didn't buy it. I played it on Game Pass.
Midnight. Did I tell them to hire 110 employees to make the game? Did I tell them to spend so long making it? Did I tell them not to add DLC, microtransactions, etc.? No. Leadership at Microsoft did, because the bet was to have these indie games that's going to make everybody go out and buy Xbox.
You can't have an indie game charge $1 million to make. I'm sorry, $100 million to make. You cannot have an indie game cost $100 million. When another game comes out, indie game, again, two completely different extremes. Vampire Survivor costs $1,500 and a case of beer. Right? Joking with the case of beer. One guy, $1,500, and he made Vampire Survivor. 110 people made South of Midnight for $100 million over 5 years. Is that what it was? Hold on, I'm gonna back up here, right? How many years? Yeah, 4 years.
Agree with it, but he went on. Microsoft did, because the bet was to have these indie games that's going to make everybody go out and buy Xbox. This post, I mean, it's pretty balanced. I don't agree with it, but he went on to respond to this one. Someone said, let me try to understand. The reason the industry is falling is I don't buy enough loot boxes and $30 skins. And this is where Mr. Kellum's really, I mean, he really lost me and probably a lot of people. But I see a lot of people that are like, yeah, get them. And I'm just like, no, your post doesn't make any sense. So let's go through point by point. You can go read the full post yourself. And I'm just going to talk about it. No, my somewhat oblivious friend. First of all,
that comes off so fucking condescending and shit. You know what I mean?
Like, I'm supposed to like people who work in gaming, who talk to people like this. This is not.
Now, remember where this is coming from. Destin worked at IGN. He's met so many people over the years in the industry. It's not like he's like just me, right? He's worked in the gaming area for like 20 years, right? For like 20 years. And he's like, you expect me to respect you for talking down to people like this?
Like people who work in gaming, who talk to people like this. This is not like, this is the type of person that people don't like. This
is Destin's, this is his origin story for being a heel.
This is why when things fail, you have people cheering. It's this exact attitude.
That's right. It's exactly right.
That is why people get pissed off and fed up with dudes on yachts telling us we're all stupid.
This is 100% where Destin turns. If he had a goatee, this would be alternate universe Destin.
And we don't understand it. This does nothing for the this doesn't help you. It doesn't help the industry. It doesn't help your friends. So I don't know what you're doing. The reason the industry is failing is because posts like this from you and others who fundamentally misunderstand the economics of the industry. So let's do this for the people in the back.
Now, I am a person that if I say stuff, right, sometimes I get things wrong. And when you guys point it out to me, I go, oh, my mistake. Or I don't pretend to know something I don't know. Okay. All the stuff that we have, we do straight up on stream, right? Straight up on stream. So basically, when we do the stories, right, I'm not reading or watching 100 people's videos on what their thoughts are before I say it. I just read the article, give you my thoughts and opinions on the article, and that's what we do, right? Yeah, Destin McGuire, right? So when this guy, the way he, let me say this for the people in the back, right? It'd be like, oh yeah, this is going to come off really nicely, okay? It's going to come off really nicely.
These video games you like, they are expensive to make, real expensive, and they keep getting more expensive. But we didn't ask for that, you say. Oh yeah, you did. By buying the games that are bigger and prettier and not buying the games that aren't. Let's start.
Now, remember, this is a nice little acquaintance, or it's not the word I'm looking for, but we just talked about Grand Theft Auto, right? If it's $100 and people buy the $100 video game, the industry is going to think that all the games need to be $100, right?
On that first point, video games are expensive to make. Yes, you hire 50 more people than you need on every project. You overhired during COVID. Like, none of that is the gamer's fault. The gamer didn't tell you to go overhire during COVID. They didn't tell you to build studios in the most expensive cities on
yes, thank you.
Planet Earth. They didn't, like, all of these decisions, and we're going to get into more because he brings up Japan later, which is just nonsensical to me. I guess I'm one of the dum-dums, right? Great.
Yeah, we're the people in the back of the room, Destin.
Let's just stop there because those are my responses to his first 2 points. You said, oh, yeah, you did. By buying the games that are bigger and prettier. Oh, okay, yeah, we only buy the games that are bigger and prettier, and we only know Clear Obscure, and we don't know anything else. All right, let's take a look at SteamDB tonight. We have Taskbar Hero at nearly 500,000 players.
You see his point. He's showing you on Steam all these independent games that are up here that people are playing or buying.
It's just some indie. I've never heard of this game. We have Bongo Cat. I don't know what this is. It's free on Steam. Top played game. We have, of course, Wallpaper Engine. We have Mecha Chameleon, Slay the Spire 2. And I'm sure if I were to go to like popular release, we have the Gothic 1 remake. We have Lost Castle 2. Road to Empress, all these hot, well, Capsule Lover, won't talk about that one. We have like Mole, we have Volding Bound. Like what are you talking about? We don't play other games. We play other games all the time. All the time. Those little games have been some of the most successful and popular games ever. So, I mean, I don't think I really need to refute his point any more than I have. It's just the false narrative. It's just not true that gamers don't support small games.
Gamers don't support bad games. Now, from a snapshot, what Destin's saying, he says, "Oh, these are popular games. They might be popular at that moment, right? But in the long run, they're probably not popular, right? Popular meaning today it sold 1,000 games, so it's on the popular list, but it might not sell anymore. It might sell 200 over the next 6 months, type of thing. Look at what happened to a Monster Hunter, right? The last Monster Hunter that came out sold 500,000 units right in the beginning. Or no, I'm sorry, 2 million units in the beginning. And then sold only 500,000 units for the rest of the year because it was unoptimized and whatnot. And people are like, right? Gamers only buy the games that they're interested in. And if your game that's not interested is also not complete and it's broke, buggy, and unfinished, people won't buy your games. It's just the way it works.
Vampire Survivors, Claire Obscure, like, I've named plenty. All right, let's just keep going. Oh, yeah, you did by buying games that are bigger and prettier and not buying the games that aren't. It's not true. We don't buy bad games. By demanding more content, prettier content, etc., but Claire Obscure, Lords of the Fallen, a handful of exceptions don't make the rule. I mean, we just looked at what's trending tonight
exactly
on Steam. And any given day, like I feel like every week I'm seeing new indie games pop up all the time. So your core thesis is completely flawed. So games are way more expensive to make, but they cost the same. That's right. And when you think about inflation, they are actually cheaper. How will games make money?
No.
Well, if we sell more copies, we can. And that's what happened in COVID. But that was an anomaly. And the overhiring it caused made the economics of games even worse. The industry looked like it had a path out via social/live service, and interest rates were so low that risking your money in games was a really great idea for investors. So investors took all their money during COVID, which anybody with half a brain could have seen was not going to sustain
100%.
Unless the world just ended up in a perpetual state where we're all locked in our houses.
Which, again, everybody in the industry wanted it to be. They wanted you stuck in your houses for the rest of your life because corporate greed goes up. They're like, oh my God, we made so much money. They did all of the hiring during that point. They overspent that point. They got the low interest rates at that point, and they thought it was going to happen forever. And now they're crying. Now they're crying because now it's coming. Everyone's coming in to cash in.
It just wasn't going to happen. So they borrowed all the money. They bought all the studios. They overhired, and that is my fault. Am I following your thought process clearly here? See,
Michael Garvey, thank you very much for the subscription. Appreciate it.
Games have been economically on shaky ground for decades. Our costs to make them are going up. but because of enthusiast media, nothing else.
Right.
Because of enthusiast media campaigns, every single attempt to preserve or create new revenue stream is systemically shit on. DLC. You all lost your shit about horse armor. Let's just
I'll let Destin
stop right there. Horse armor. Yes, we all made fun of the horse armor. That made them a shitload of money.
And because of it, it wasn't the first thing. It was the most viewed thing, but people noticed, right? Because the other games that did it before it were very small. And when they did it, okay, it was much more publicized. You made a shit ton of money off that. And what happened? Everybody started putting it in the games. It was just one horse armor. It was just 4 games going to PlayStation. It was just one game that was $80. You see how it goes from just one to the rule?
DLC, and it's not even DLC. DLC is like Shadow of Erdtree. DLC is, more map packs in Halo. DLC is not a skin in a video game. That is a cosmetic. And
well, actually, Destin, they would argue with you, be like, well, DLC is anything you can download, and it's actual content. I agree with Destin, though. A skin is not DLC. A map pack is DLC. A story-driven thing is DLC. The DLC of the old, not the DLC of the new.
It's made World of Warcraft tons of money. It has made Fortnite tons of money. It is the reason you are sitting on a yacht, my dude. So I don't know what the you're talking about, because everybody buys that DLC. You literally made most of your money because of it. So,
he did work for Epic, so I'm assuming that's where he got enough money to be on a yacht.
So yes, we shit on it, but it worked. You got the gamers. I think they just lightened up or figured it out at some point and stopped spending money on it. Season Map Pass. It fractures the community. I personally haven't heard this one. Season maps or season passes. The main problem is you made video games a job. You somehow managed to come up with a design concept that made video games fucking suck to play.
Yeah.
They made them feel like a job, and when people wised up to it,
they stopped playing.
They just stopped supporting. They're just like, I'm just not going to do this anymore. I come home from work. I don't want to do this anymore. But still, it worked for a very long time. You were at Epic. You made a load of money because of it.
Sure did.
You're apparently very wealthy based on the persona that you put out online, or is it all just a big act? So yeah, loot boxes. We are child gambling. You literally are.
Wow, he's actually. Hold on a second.
Yeah, loot.
So he says season mass. This is him bitching at us, the gamers, right? The guy that he's reading the post on. Season map pass is fracturing the community. Well, no, DLC map packs fracture the community. I don't know about the season map passes, because if it's a season map pass, if you're charging for it, then yeah, I guess it would. But if you're giving free maps out, then it wouldn't fracture the community. Loot boxes, we're child gambling. You are child gambling. Every freaking thing that you put into any video game where it's a loot box type of thing is child gambling. They don't know what they're getting. They're spending $10 on a thing, and then you close the game down and they lose it all. 1,000%.
Boxes. We are child gambling. You literally are. So like, that's not even hyperbolic. Just if you weren't sure, loot boxes were designed because they had actual psychologists come in, and they figured
this is it, Michael. This is when he's become base. If you rewind just a little bit, I was leading up to this before we started watching it. This is Destin's, like, at least in my perspective, this is Destin like waking up, right? Not to say he was asleep before, but like this is his villain arc. This is where he's like all of a sudden awake and he's with the rest of us now.
Figured out ways to manipulate you psychologically so that you were more likely to use loot boxes. Loot boxes are considered gambling and are outlawed in places like the Netherlands because of this practice. It's literally outlawed in parts of the world. I'm supposed to be cool with loot box. Like every single example you've listed is a example.
Yeah.
It's just a terrible example. Like, oh, you're right, Mr. Millionaire. I am so glad you figured out ways to psychologically manipulate your player base.
Right. Remember, Destiny hired people to figure out how to make you addicted to the actual thing they were making. Remember that.
Full story had loot box things in their game that were so bad you actually could never win them. So like, what are you even doing here? Xbox trying to stop used games might as well have been the devil. Yeah, when I buy a game, if I want to trade it in, I want to trade it in. I don't give a fuck that Xbox.
I love this Destin right now. I love this Destin right now. I love that the fact that he's cursing, but he's bleeping it out.
Doesn't like that. So where are your good examples of monetization? There's not a single one. You named like every, besides like cosmetics, he's named like a bunch of predatory microtransactions, and us not liking that is the problem? What? Games got $10 more expensive. Breathless post after post on how awful that is, written by people unironically drinking $6 matcha latte.
That is being so generalistic. As I stand here today and tell you, don't buy Grand Theft Auto if it's $100, okay, is telling you exactly what I mean. If you buy it at $100, it sends the frequency out there that the industry says, okay, we've now moved the goalpost, right? We've moved the goalpost from $60 video games to $70 video games to $80 video games to $100 video games, right? Remember, gaming hasn't changed the entire time in my lifespan about as much money, right? But from this generation, it went from 60 to 70 to 80 to maybe now $100, right? In just 6 years. The gaming industry, because they fucked up so bad during the actual COVID times and overspend, they're trying to recoup everything they've lost in the past. That's not how this works, okay? You're raising the prices of your consoles. You're raising the prices of your video games to make up for the stuff that you won't be making. Keep raising the price. I'm telling you right now, there will be people that pay $100 for video games, but that number will go down and down and down and down. And the reason I say this is there's already go look at movie theaters right now. Movie theaters, sure, a movie could make $1 billion. Sure, movie prices are higher, and yet there's 50% less people, more actually, that are actually not going to the theaters. But yet the movie makes just as much money as the last movie that came out. Even though 10 years ago, 50% more people went to the theaters. But they make more money from less people now. And yet movies fail. Worse and worse and worse. Why? Because there's less people going to the movies. So go ahead, video game industry. Keep raising the price and see what happens to your video games.
I do not drink $6 matcha lattes. I spoil myself every morning, and I have a Lavazza coffee made in my home coffee machine. I've broken down the math on how much each cup of coffee I drink.
He's a dad. Yeah. Or as people would call you, Destin, I'm not calling you this, by the way. They would call you a broke boy. They call you a broke boy because you like pinching pennies and saving money because you're a father and you want to save money for your children and your family.
My house costs. That's how much of a penny pincher I am. Just in case people were curious, it costs about 25 cents every time I drink a coffee. So no, I don't drink matcha lattes. Nobody does that. That is the
single people that are living the life go to matcha lattes. They get Uber Eats. They do all that stuff. That is true. But those people are probably not playing video games. I'll be honest with you.
Boomer thing that everybody says, just stop going to Starbucks and save your money. And it's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, you're complaining that we don't support all these things, and yet you think we're cool drinking the $6. Like, Starbucks isn't doing well. I don't know if you've followed the stock markets. They have been struggling since the COVID epidemic because people aren't drinking those $6 matcha lattes. So, like, what do you...
El Dente says, whoa, I drink matcha lattes and I play video games. Well, El Dente, you don't have a family yet. I say that right? You don't have a family yet, right? You don't have any children yet. You're still young, right? And when I say young, I mean I believe you have a fiance now, right? Or you have a wife, right? When you get back to me, because I know you've been with me for over 10 years, right? Get back to me when you have little ones running around and you have all these other things. Your life completely changes, right? No children yet until next year. There you go, right? Get back to me and how many matcha lattes you're having when you have children.
What are you even crashing out about? Like, it's just a big major crash out section. I don't even really understand his point. So basically the message is keep spending money to make these games, but we won't pay you more. Well, you can see from the above why the gap between player expectations and economics has well and truly f***ed the industry. Your only chance is either a mega hit or getting extremely lucky. For every Claire Obscure, there is a Samson. Okay, make 20 Samsons.
Exactly right. Stop going for the big... Look, first of all, let me rewind here for a second. He says, so basically a message is keep spending money to make these games, but we won't pay you more. Hey, dipshit. I don't know if you know this. You're working at a video game company, probably making 6 figures. Right. The average person buying your video games is not working at a 6-figure job. I would say the average person is working a 9-to-5er, right? Just want to come home and fucking just relax for a second. But now they got to spend $70, $80, $90, $100, and they got to buy the season pass, and there's a couple loot boxes, and there's a new skin that comes out, and all this other stuff. And they're like, that's just one game that does that. But now there's 10 games that do that as well. So now every time he wants to play a game, you got to play $70, $80, $90, $100. So now it's like $400, right? Oh, but you're a broke boy, right? You're a broke boy. That's what this gentleman's saying in the post here, right? He's like, well, you want us to do this, but the prices aren't going up, and you're also not buying games. Yeah, we're not buying games because they're too expensive. If you brought that down, you brought your budget down, and you brought the prices of video games down, maybe more people would play more video games, but they don't because they're all buying the most popular video games that spend hundreds of hours in the video game, and they don't have a chance to go play anything else because the next game is $80.
Then. Okay, make 20 Samsons. I was asked once, like, what would you do if you had $100 million? Would you place the $100 million bet in one basket, or would you do 10 baskets?
10 baskets.
I would make 10 baskets.
10 baskets.
Why the f***?
10 baskets give me the best opportunity to get invested in my money instead of taking $100 million, putting it in one game, and if it fucks up, you're done. Nobody would take the $100 million and put it in one game. You would take it and spread it up into 10 baskets so you can have 10 opportunities to make money.
Would you put all your eggs in a basket? Are you stupid? I don't really understand what he is talking about here when he is saying, for every Claire Obscure, there is a Samson. Yeah, okay. There's also a Mole, a Voiding Bound, an Ogre Chamber, a Pickup Ball. There's a Gothic 1 remake. There's a... Some of these I probably shouldn't be mousing over. There's a Tab-Top Tavern. Like, look at all these successes. And they're all just
I mean, it's called Fuck's Quest 2, Destin.
Like cheap little games that weren't made for $100 million. It's also Steam Next Fest, so we're seeing a lot of the smaller creators pop up right now. I would be curious to see the most popular sold games, and I'm sure you can go look. And they're not all going to be some $100, $200 million bet like the Compulsion Games math I did. So like this burn rate, come on, man. You work 4 or 5 years on a game, you spend $100 million. It doesn't work. Like that's not even including the marketing budget. So what message am I supposed to take away here? He writes at one point, so basically the message is keep spending money to make these games, but we won't pay you more. At the very least, with this part, yeah, you got the message. We're not going to pay more than $70. Gamers just won't. And you're going to see hardware sales decline.
100%. They don't know that yet. Don't tell them, Destin. They think that because they're raising the prices, they're still going to sell consoles because of Grand Theft Auto.
You have discovered the secret message we've been trying to tell you. We will not be completely fleeced by companies. We've wised up to a lot of the tactics where you have been literally hiring psychologists to manipulate us into spending as much money as possible. Like
they would rather take $100 million put towards a psychologist to find a way to give us them more money than take that $100 million and just make a video game.
Like, ding, ding, ding. You hit the cap of what most people are willing to pay. And the price is actually closer to $40. A lot of those games that have lowered their price threshold to 40, and no, I'm not talking about Concord, we'll get here in a second. Slay the Spire, for example, just had the sequel come out, and it's doing very well. It is not...
Well, it's still in beta. Early access?
Not a $70 or $80 game. And you will price out your players if you start pricing games at that. So all the mixed messaging in the world won't change that fact. Well, you can see from the above why the gap between player expectation and economics has well and truly f***ed the industry. Nothing to do with the player. If you can't
1,000% has nothing to do with us.
That, like, I'm a guy. All right. I'm very excited about Gears of War E-Day. Why? Because I get to go chainsaw shit in half. Why did I like God of War Ragnarok? Because if I'm using my bare hands, I grab enemies and I rip their fucking bodies in half with my bare hands, and I split their heads open and I can see their guts splattered. Like, yeah, I like that. I like that source. I like violent video games. It is a fun experience for me. Mortal Kombat, oh man, the hat, you throw it down on the ground, you buzzsaw. It's fantastical. It's fun. You're a strong guy and you kill stuff, right? I like those. Or in Mortal Kombat, you're a strong woman and you're a four-armed woman and you rip the dude in half, and that's awesome too. It's great, right? If you can't figure out what gamers want, they just want cool shit.
It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. We want to play fun stuff.
The art stuff is cool from time to time, but you can't be spending $100 million on that. Do you think they spent $100 million on Limbo and Braid back in the day? No, but those people are set for life. Why?
Michael says this is an ads video with AI Destin face. No, this is not ads. Yeah. It does sound like an ads video though, right?
Because they had a reasonable P&L. Anyway, it's just extremely wild to me that it hasn't occurred to most of you that the only games surviving were live service because they had consistent revenue that wasn't capped. Bungie was fucked before Sony bought them.
Oh man, Destin was on podcasts back in the day, and he would defend. And again, this is not me taking shots at Destin. He would defend Bungie. People would bring up reasons why Bungie is failing. He didn't see it back then. Okay, he didn't see it back then, but he sees it now.
So live service was not doing as well as you thought. Besides, maybe
that everyone thought. Everyone thought that live service was untouchable. It's amazing. Well, now the hard truth is it's not.
World of Warcraft. But let's think about that for a second. You have World of Warcraft Classic, which is outdated technology, really. It probably costs much less to run than WoW main, and those games are doing well. You have an occasional hit like Helldivers 2, which never meant to see that sort of success. And then you have something like Destiny 2, which was doing well for a time period until they had some of the stupidest updates that they've ever had in their life. They put too much monetization in their game to the point where you had to buy frickin' dungeon keys. Like, what are you thinking? And they took all the cool cosmetics away. You needed too much money to keep the game going. So
yeah, but Shadow, that's just saying anything, right? You're saying some live servers make it and others don't. That's right. Games make it and others don't. Right? But everyone was going towards live service. If everything's live service, obviously, you're not going to have every game make it, because if I'm paying $10 a month in 5 games, that's my budget, let's say, right? Let's say I'm playing 5 live service games, and they all take 5 hours of my week, each game, right? I'm playing 5 games, 25 hours of gameplay, and each one I'm spending $10 in. So every week I'm spending $50, right? At a point, it gets to a point where you're like, I can't afford this anymore. So you stop playing 1 or 2 or 3, and then you're like, oh, right? And then to spend more, you have to work more. Well, if I'm working more, then I'm playing less, because we all have the exact same amount of time.
Something fundamentally changed internally about the balance between how much you were spending to make the game and how much you were making, right? And that is not my fault. That is because you overhired, you bloated the company out, you were relying too much on that gravy train of microtransactions that people wised up to. They said, yeah, I don't want to come home and do a job. Like what was the system for leveling up in Destiny 2? Just because I know that game really well. The best system to cap out your season pass was, get this, you stack the same boring ass bounties in a big old bundle, you clear them all on the moon, and then you turn them all in at once, and you rinse and repeat that until you max out your season pass. That's not fun. That's not what video games are supposed to be. So your monetization structures have eroded what we loved about the game,
because they designed the game structure based around the microtransactions.
And then you blame us for not liking your monetization structures. It's just extremely wild to me that it hasn't occurred to most of you that the only games surviving were live service because they had...
That's not true at all. A single player game survives because you buy the game, and that's it. What the fuck are we talking about? The only games that survive are live service. If I buy a single player game, the single player game survived. If you make a good single player game, people buy your single player game, play the single player game, put down the single player game when they're done playing it, go back to it whenever they feel like it. But guess what? They already paid you the money that you made. And if it was under budget, guess what? You made money. If it was over budget, guess what? You didn't make money.
Consistent revenue that wasn't capped. He says he uses past tense, to be fair. That's why everyone was chasing live service he's talking about. You scream and shout and pout every time we try to make money any other way. The rub is...
Make product, sell product. Make game, sell game. I give you money for product. You give me game for money. That's it. Nope, not anymore. Now you buy it. You don't even own the game. You don't own the stuff on it. And then when they decide, because the game didn't sell well, they just take it away from you. And now you can't play it.
Is those live service games are the hardest to make. And then when people try really hard and spend money to make a game that you'll enjoy, you shit on them. Highguard, Concord.
Highguard, and Concord were shit. So guess what? We didn't buy it.
Marathon. Let's talk about trying really hard to make a game. I had some thoughts about this one, but first of all, you list Highguard, Concord, and Marathon. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to like those games because they tried really hard?
Hey guys, I'm trying really hard every day. Just doing a YouTube channel. Booby, right? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, what are we talking about here? Right? Just because you make something doesn't mean people are going to watch it. Sorry. You got to work hard all the time. You got to keep consistent all the time.
I don't give a shit.
It's exactly right.
I hate to be blunt and rude.
No, please. I like this, Destin. Be blunt and rude.
My father worked his whole fucking life in a paper mill, making paper. And guess what? People stopped buying paper.
That's right. And your dad, shit out of luck. No one wrote an article about him saying everyone's losing their job and boo-hoo.
Because we don't use it as much anymore. I'm supposed to go out and buy paper because my dad tried real hard making it? Just like you fucking didn't.
I love this. I love this arc. I love this Destin arc right now.
I sure as shit ain't gonna do that. Nobody on planet Earth is gonna do that. So what the are you even talking about? They tried really hard to make something cool. Great. So
if you're trying to make something really good, but you didn't make it because you really tried to, well, then you didn't make it good.
Hundreds and thousands of other developers every year, and 90% of them fall on their face. That's the reality of the situation. And some of them don't spend $100 million to fall on their face. You take particular glee in tearing them down and then post about your solidarity when folks get laid off.
Oh, God. No one is... Look, if you take someone getting... I don't give a shit. I'll be honest with you. We talk about firings all the time. And me and Sarge talk about it just like anything else, right? Because I come from a business where get laid go all the time, right? I worked in the film industry for 20 years. Get laid off all the time. Nobody cares because everyone else is going through their own shit in life and they don't have time to care about your problems because they also have their problems. Nobody gives a shit if you work 10 years on a project and it failed day one. What they care about is the thing that you worked on. Is it good? Is it bad? What have you done for me lately? That is life. I'm sorry. That's what it is. If you're making a product, okay, made the cell phone. I bought the cell phone. If this cell phone is a piece of shit, well, guess what? You made a piece of shit, and I don't want to use your cell phone. So I would get rid of your cell phone, and I would go buy a different cell phone. I don't care how many people worked on it. I don't care about how many sleepless nights they had. I don't care what their pills are, if they're in debt. I don't care. Because we all are in the same boat doing our own little thing in our own little worlds, and we're not here to pity people. We're here because you made a product, and we're paying for that product. That's it. That's the transaction. Nothing else goes behind that transaction, right? This thing right here, this thing that they gave me for Father's Day, okay? Optimus Prime with Megatron in here, okay? Someone created this. Someone took their time. I don't know if it took 5 seconds to make this or if it took 5 hours to make this. I don't care. As a person, I look at this and go, man, that's fucking cool. That's awesome. I'll buy another one. I'll buy another one. Okay? Why? Because I like the quality of the thing, and then that's what you get. So then I go out and buy another one. And that person, and look, I shared that on stream. So now maybe one of you will look at it and go, that's cool. Maybe I'll get one of those, right? And then you go buy one as well. And then that person, because their quality is being made, and I bought the thing and someone else saw the thing and they were like, oh, that's pretty cool. I want one too. They also bought it. No one said, oh, well, I'm not selling that because people are just assholes and not buying my stuff. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Look, I personally do not express glee when people get laid off. And for the most part, the people who I follow, they don't do that, right? I do see it online. Yes, sure. It does happen. But like, unless you're watching Asmongold or you know Life on X, that's not the reality.
That's exactly right.
Most people,
no one's cheering about them being laid off. But what the fuck am I supposed to do? I can't do anything about it. Even if I paid your game, even a successful game is going to close down now.
People feel bad about these layoffs. Most people have empathy for the people who are encountering this. So, okay, dude. I'm not saying you are hypocrites, but no one will be going to you for any intellectual honesty anytime soon. Okay, cool. Then keep doing what you're doing. It's working fucking great. Great to hear, man. Yeah, don't come to us for any intellectual honesty. Yeah, keep blaming me and calling me stupid. That's been great for business. You're just knocking it out of the fucking park. Look at you on your yacht. You're doing so good. Man, you have all this success at all these companies. I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about. And yeah. Good call, my man. I'm not saying no one will be going to you for any intellectual honesty anytime soon. Good luck with that. It's working freaking great. Keep it up.
He's mad. He's mad.
It's funny because in Japan, that other exception to the rule that y'all venerate but don't understand, again, calling you stupid, the economics are totally different. Yes, the economics are different in
That's how
Japan
economy
than
works.
they are in California.
Yeah.
Thank you for enlightening everybody.
Yeah.
Are you for real? Way lower wages, but pay artists, you say. The wages are lower in Japan because the cost of living in Japan is still high, but it's different than it is in California.
Yep.
Again, retail sales are not price protected. That you are correct again. So very often the games in Japan are cheaper. They're cheaper than they are in the United States. So
hell, the PlayStation, in Japan, they literally charge them the same price they would charge what they should charge here, the $349, what used to be in the past.
Good point, I guess. Secondary revenue streams are accepted. One of the biggest IAP markets per capita on Earth because of gacha.
Oh, God.
I don't see people out there playing Path of Exile and bitching that it's free or complaining about the cosmetic store. There are different scenarios here. When you have a game like Concord that's $40 and that nobody seems to be liking or playing, it capped at around 10,000 players on Steam, and you have a skin store with skins that cost money, that is a lot different than a game that is completely free and then has some things you can purchase. That has been widely accepted by the market. Free to play is accepted by the market everywhere. That's not just a Japan thing. And the online discourse respects game creators, not tears them down. Well, you know, maybe in Japan, I don't know about you online, but I don't see a lot of Japanese creators signing online weekly to call me a fucking idiot degenerate.
Yeah, because they don't. They don't say anything. You know what they do? They make a game and sell a game.
Piece of shit. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But like, maybe it's because we don't get pretentious asshats like this guy writing out a big post calling me stupid. Who does this like? Maybe this made him feel better because Xbox is firing everybody. But Jesus,
potentially.
What the are you doing? Anyway, where was he? So yeah, games are not a charity. Quit treating people, making them like they are one. A charity? I pay.
What? Where's this guy going with that one?
Hypothetically, if you pay $70 for a game, do you feel like that game should be on the disc if you bought the disc?
I feel like it should be on the disc and complete, not buggy, right? I don't need to wait 18 months to get it fixed.
Do you feel like you should be able to play that game in perpetuity? Should it someday shut down the servers that weren't really necessary for it to function? I do, but the companies control that. They don't put the games on the disc anymore. They mostly distribute digitally. Nobody thinks games are a charity, but that goes two ways. My money wasn't a charity to EA
That's right.
or Ubisoft. I purchased a product and I would like to keep that. You want the industry to grow and survive out of this, you need to take a hard look at your...
The industry is growing. And the industry is surviving. If you're talking about the AAA space, no, it's not. There is more games being made right now than ever before. There is more games in the last 4 years created than ever in the history of all video games. Right? The industry is growing. More people are making video games. More people are buying video games. But less people are buying into one category of video games. There are so many different games for so many different people, and the money's getting spread out across the board instead of into one location. And because it's getting spread out and not going into that one location, this is why companies can't spend $400 million making a video game in the AAA space, because they don't have the clientele to make that money back.
your own relationships with games and how those behaviors have negatively impacted the hobby you profess to love. You know what? I do love gaming. And he said to take a good, hard look at my relationship with games. So I put some thoughts. So if my relationship with games means that I have to grovel to assholes on a yacht who are telling me I'm stupid and I don't support the industry because I don't like horse armor, then you can off. If my relationship with games means I need to let myself and my kids be manipulated by loot boxes, which are...
See what he said there? This is why I think Destin his mindset has changed. Because he's a father. He's got children. He sees it differently now. And this is not a dig on him in any way, shape, or form. Of course he thinks differently now, right? Because your whole world changes when you're just thinking about yourself and one other person. But when you're thinking about yourself, the other person, and then you have little ones, right? You're trying to teach them something so they don't fall into the same loopholes that you fell into from people trying to screw over you for the hard-earned money that you're making.
Outlawed in the Netherlands and are... My relationship with games means I need to let myself and my kids be manipulated by loot boxes, which are outlawed in the Netherlands and are basically gambling, then you can off. If I have to pretend like I like games that are bad that I don't like, you can off. And
I love what's happening here. I love what's happening here.
And if I'm somehow held responsible for shitty leadership that overspent, overhired during COVID,
that's right,
and overmarkets games that have no chance in hell of selling $200 million worth of copies, then you can off. That's my response to you, dude. And that's the response the whole industry is going to have. Maybe no one's ever told you that before, but your whole post is pretentious asshole material, and nobody likes somebody like that. Norm MacDonald
I like
once
modern Destin versus Destiny Destin. Destiny this tongue had a lot of bad takes, haha.
Thank you very much for the $5. I think, look, it's okay to have, always. I have bad takes all the time, okay? I stick by what my takes are because I believe that's what it is. That's how everyone takes their takes, okay? Everyone used to think that I said stuff because I didn't believe in it. No, I believed in what I said, and hence why it's coming to fruition now, because I can see what the landscape is, right? I'm okay that he had bad takes. At least he had takes that he stuck by, right? But you can see, and obviously there was times that we were talking about video games and he'd be like, oh, this is not what's happening, but it was what's happening. And now he's had a different completely mindset. I don't know if that's the reason, if it is 100% because of kids, if it's just because of age, because of things he's seen, is it things because he's watching other people? I don't know what it is. But whatever it is, I like this. I like this a lot more than when he was protecting certain things that were happening in the industry, because he was in the industry, and I get it. I get it. Thanks for the $5.
Nobody likes the smartest guy in the room. They like a relatable person. So don't be that guy. All of this, you're not doing the industry any favors. So good luck. Yeah, don't come to me for any advice. As you said, you don't want anything genuine. You don't want anything real. All right. Keep doing what you're doing. You've already made all your money. Like, you don't have to all, man.
That's right.
Yeah, just watch it all burn. You don't seem to give a shit. You got your bike on your profile, and you got your yacht picture. You have an LLC. You've made a load of money working on Epic, Harmonic, EA Madden NFL, Platinum Games, and Capcom. Best of luck to you. Bye.
So quality as a producer cares more about the end user than anything.
Qualities of a producer cares about the end user more than anything.
Games are $60, right? This is a spiel that I give to everybody when they join Platinum, especially the foreign staff. Games are $60. And when I was young, $60 was a big deal. And I did not like to spend $60 on something that I didn't want. And I wanted to give, that $60 meaning to me. If you're making a game, you need to remember that some kid who probably mowed lawns for 3 weeks is going to spend that only $60 that he has on something that you worked on. So if you look at it and you're like, yeah, it's good enough, no, it's not good enough. Because that kid doesn't want good enough. He wants the best. And when you're making a game, I think you have to have that attitude about it at all times. So a great producer cares more about the end user than anything.
There you go. Yeah, there was a chirp in there. There was a chirp, but that was at a convention center. So someone in the convention center didn't change the batteries in the fire alarm. Chirp. Yep. I like that, Destin. That right there felt. Actually, let me go back. Let me go back to this quote that he had up here. Let me see. Yeah, the quote. All right, the quote that he had was, "Play the dumb guy, play the everyman. Nobody likes a guy smarter than them. This is the worst guy you can be. A guy smarter than the audience. You're going to hate you." Okay? This is why on this show, right, I'm a true self. And we learn stuff every single day. That's my life's goal, right? To learn something new every day. Otherwise, I'm not living, right? We read stories every single day, okay? We learn about something different every single day. We could read 1,000 words, and there only might be a sentence there, but it might teach you something different, right? You might learn something from me. You might not, right? You might have learned something that you didn't know these existed, okay? And now you want one, right? You might have learned that the way video games are structured, or how they charge too much, and how people are manipulated. And now that you be $100 video game, now the industry is going to shift towards $100, right? It could be whatever it is, right? That's the way I go forward with my content, right? I don't think I know everything, okay? If I don't know something, we look it up. And when someone comes in and says something, right, and says something that's not truthful, we look it up and we point it out to them, okay? It's not about me being smarter than everybody else in any way, shape, or form. It's never been that. Okay, it's about what I know. Talk about what I know. What I don't know, we read, and then I give you my thoughts and opinions on that stuff. That is my entire channel and how it's based. Right? Never being the smartest person in the room, because God knows I'm not that. Okay, but it's about being relatable and being somebody that's having a conversation. Two, again, what you do with your money is your thing. Okay, what we talk about and what we preach on this program is AAA games, right? These corporations try to get everything and anything out of you. They don't want to give you a full-fledged game. They want to give you a broke, buggy, unfinished experience for full price, and then tell you you're the bad guy. Tell you you're the sexist, you're the racist, you're the misogynistic, right? Tell you that you're the reason that this is, that's right. We're the reason that it succeeds or if it dies. We're the reason that Star Wars is the biggest brand. We are the reason that Pokemon is the biggest brand. We are the reason that Star Trek lived for 60 years, right? We are the reason people love Lord of the Rings, right? We are the reason for gaming industry to be where it is today. And they forget that. All they see is greed and money. That's all they see, okay? So if all they see is greed and money, well, then you have to tell them so they learn something where the money comes from, and the money comes from the people that they have to make the product for. That's it. Very simple. They don't know that. They forget that. Or they don't care. And if it's one of those three things, then fuck them. They don't deserve your money. Ron says, I learned about yachts today. There you go. Yeah. See? Yachts. Let's see here. It's those damn ceiling birds. What do you have? A crystal from the Fortress of Solitude? Did you not see it, Sarge? This is a... If you missed it earlier, this is they gave me for Father's Day. It's a crystal, or it's a resin, right? And inside is Optimus Prime shooting the Michael Bay Megatron. So, and it changes colors and whatnot. Yeah, put the fries in the bag. It's what it is. All right, what time is it? 12:30? Let's go to Twitter real fast, see what's happening on Twitter. There's always something happening. 25th. What's today? The 22nd? Yeah. So the 25th is the pre-orders for Grand Theft Auto. We'll probably get a new trailer on that day as well. I'm sure we'll hear a bunch of other stuff that's happening. Oh, I saw Toy Story. We saw Toy Story 5 this weekend as well. It was good. It was good. It was better than 4. I didn't like 4. But I could see people having problems with certain things that happen in the film. But I will say this in a non-spoiler type of way. You have to remember the toys are who they are, but the story is told from a perspective of a different character, right? Andy was 1, 2, and 3. Bonnie came in at the end of 3 when they handed off the toys. Bonnie's in 4 and Bonnie's in 5. It's different because it's the way that girls play with toys, and that's why they're doing what they're doing, I would say. But overall, good story. It's going to make $1 billion. It's definitely going to make $1 billion. But 1, 2, and 3 are still one's my favorite. 2, then 3, then 5, then 4. That's the order I would put them in. I don't like it. Do they have a Megatron shooting Optimus? They do. I watched Mortal Kombat 2. That movie sucked. It looked like it was going to suck, so I didn't bother with it. So, here, let me bring up something real fast because I saw an article. Okay, and we were talking about this just a little bit earlier. How movies, while we were talking about the Destin, right? Less people were watching movies, right? So they did say that this was the #1 box office of all time without inflation. Okay, for Toy Story. But what they don't tell you is that, yeah, I mean, you have to put inflation. Without inflation, but they say without inflation because I believe Toy Story 3 was the biggest one ever. I think it was like, I want to say it's like 167, 172, something like that with inflation. This one's 160, right? It also opened up in 4,425 theaters, right? So if I go to Box Office Mojo, we look up Toy Story 3. Sorry. Toy Story 3. Right, we bring that up. Right, it made 110, but with inflation that goes up and it goes surpassed the thing. But the movie industry wants you to know that this is the best opening ever for any Toy Story film, and the reason they want you to know that is because that drives people to go to the theater. Like, oh, this is the best one ever, so it must be the best movie ever. Which, in my opinion, it's not. Right, obviously, it's made 312 million worldwide. Toy Story 3 back in the day made $1 billion. And then Toy Story 4 obviously made a lot of money as well. But it underperformed of 3, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go to Toy Story 4. Right? I think just over. Yeah, just over. But I believe it's in less theaters as well. Right? This is the most Toy Story 5 has shown up in 4,425 theaters. 4,425 theaters, which is way more than when it opened up. Let me see. Original release date. Did I tell you how many theaters they were in back in the day? Yeah, 4,028 theaters. Okay, so they have 425 more theaters. Now, with inflation, okay, Toy Story 3 beats Toy Story 5. And the reason I bring that up is because they have more theaters in the new one, shows you that they're making less money per theater. Okay, less people are going to see movies. But yet they still make more money than the previous one because they're charging more money to get there. This is what's happening in the video game space. The video game space right now is doing the exact same thing, where they want to raise the price to $80, $90 to offset the high prices of the stuff, and then tell you that, well, it sold 10 million units and it made more money than ever before, right? PlayStation literally did this with saying that the PlayStation 5 is the most profitable one because, well, yeah, you're charging $158 extra than you did on the past systems. Obviously, PlayStation 2 was like $99 when most people bought it. They didn't change the price 5 years later to be a higher price. They changed it to be a lower price. And so more people bought it at $99. Now the prices have gone up for the consoles across the board. and they're like, oh yeah, they're more profitable. Sure, but there's less people that own the systems. There's less people going to the theaters. There's less people going to be buying video games across the board. There's literally like half the amount of people going to the theaters now than back in the day. All right, what's 110? 110 million. What year was Toy Story 3? That was 2010. All right, so 110. Oh no, I did the wrong one. It's 110. 110 inflation calculator calculates. That would be. Did it miss a? Oh, I missed a zero. I was like, wait a minute. It's 110. 110, 3 zeros, 6 zeros. There we go. Yeah. So it'd be $167 million. So it would beat it by 7 million, right? And think about that. They had way less people, and also pay at a cheaper price. I'm sorry, way more people, and they paid at a cheaper price. Travis says, okay, I'm trying to improve myself, and I can't do that by blocking people just because they have bad opinions. I have to learn to accept some people don't know what they're talking about ever, but they still get to. I mean, you also could do this, Travis, where if someone says something, you don't have to reply. So, like, I chose to read your thing and put it up on the thing, right? Or I didn't have to say anything. That goes a really long distance, right? Big way. If someone says something you don't like or disagree with, you can just let it go. Yeah, that's it. Shadow says, I can't believe that they're pushing for new consoles already with the price of the component being so high. Just doesn't make any sense with a generation barely even had a start. It makes no sense. But they're trying to... See, they made a shit ton of money back in 2020. And now they're not making a shit ton of money. So now they have to try to get the people to buy the system so they can make up for the difference. That's the problem. They spent way too much. No one put a governor on them, right? And now they're hurting. And it's going to get worse for them. This is the start. This is not the problem now. See, the problem's not going to happen until next year. When Grand Theft Auto comes out, everyone's going to think everything's fine. The industry thinks that it's going to be fine. Grand Theft Auto's going to sell like hotcakes, okay? The industry's going to be, do you see how many they sold? We still got them. And then they're going to make a game. They're going to put out a $400 million game, a $500 million game. It's going to bomb. They're going to let go of people. They're going to fire studios even more. And then they're going to be like, I don't understand. What's happened? That game made it. That's what's going to happen. Travis says, on a different topic, evidently people are having a hissy fit over the Ferris wheel in GTA 6. What, they're like the ray tracing? What are they having a problem with the Ferris wheel? What the fuck does that even mean? They're having a problem with the Ferris wheel. By the way, look up new Xbox controller cloud connected and see the controller you've been talking about. All right, let me look it up. What's it called? New Xbox controller cloud. Cloud connected. I think we looked at these up already. These are the flat ones, I think, right? Microsoft is developing a compact Xbox cloud gaming controller featuring built-in Wi-Fi Y6. Instead of routing inputs through your phone or TV via Bluetooth, it connects directly to the cloud server to drastically reduce latency. Oh, look at that. Drastically reduce latency. The design resembles a smaller, more portable controller. So this is the Xbox controller. This is the cloud one you're talking about. Yeah, this is the one we saw. I didn't know what the thing was. Direct cloud connection features a Wi-Fi 2.4 gig, 5 gig to talk directly to Microsoft's data center, similar to Google Stadia controller. Compact layout, leaked regulatory images show a much smaller, flatter. Yeah. So we saw these about a month ago, I think. We talked about it. Or saw the images. Yeah, these things. Interesting, huh? Interesting. We shall see. It's like, why would they make it small like that, though? Why would they make it different? Probably to keep the cost down, I'll be honest with you. Stadia lives. But no one, Michael's going to play on cloud. Nobody's playing on cloud. Well, it doesn't matter, Sarge. Even if you plugged it in to your box, it's still talking to the cloud, right? So what they're doing now is they're just responding it to the cloud regardless. It's to keep costs down for whatever reason, you know? You sent me something? All right, let me see what you got. Maybe we'll read it tomorrow. Gamers cancel future pre-orders of GTA 6 due to one frame. I'll read that. I'll read that later. I'm not going to read it now. Cloud latency is still awful. It's not as awful as you think it is, Shadow. And I totally get the people that are like, I don't want to do it because it's going to be bad. But you got to remember, and we've said this before. Remember when you used to go to like the Target or Best Buy, and this is between the ages of like 720, like 4:3 to 720p to 1080p, right? They showed you that you were watching blurry television your entire life. You were watching blurry television. You'd walk into the store and they would have a side-by-side comparison. They do the thing across the screen, and they're like standard TV, and then they would show you what you're looking at. You're like, oh my God, 720p looks so crystal clear. I've been watching blurry television my whole life. And I'm like, the fuck are we talking about? Right? We weren't watching blurry television. Right? Once someone takes that television home and puts it in front of them, without the comparison of other televisions around them, the person doesn't know that if it's good, bad, they were told that it was great. 720p, 1080p, 2K, 4K, 8K, whatever it is, right? That's what it is. The majority of people cannot tell the difference between 30 frames, 60 frames. They can't tell between 720p and 1080p and 2K and 4K, right? So the person that they're going for the cloud stuff is not you. Is not the person that understands what 30 and 60 and 120 frames per second is. Not the person that understands. It's going for the everyday average person that they just want to get that extra $10 from or the extra $15 from. That's it. That's the clientele. Ron says if Sony made one, everyone would be cheering. I will never cheer for any cloud gaming. You might not cheer, but there will be a time that all you're playing is cloud. If you think about it or not, you'll only play cloud. Why? Because 10 years from now, okay, that'll all be what it is. There'll be no physical stuff. There'll be no actual discs. It'll all be coming from the servers from the cloud. That's it. People love playing GeForce now. Now it's expensive. Now they've limited to 100 hours a month or something like that. Jason says, and that's when I'm out. That's fine. And if you're out, you're out. Or maybe you'll play a game on the cell phone instead. Maybe something will bring you back, and maybe the contact lens that they put on you, or the glasses that you wear that can now play video games in the future. You'd be like, oh, I haven't played games in 15 years. Let's see what this is about, right? And that's what will happen. And $50 a month, no choice. That's right. Well, Stadia failed, so obviously the consumer didn't want it. No. The Stadia failed because Stadia, you had to rebuy the games that you already owned to play them on Stadia. See, the problem wasn't Stadia. It was the business model of Stadia. They were trying to get into the console market. The difference between Xbox and Stadia, if Xbox does the exact same thing as Stadia, they already have all that infrastructure. Google didn't. Google had to make the same deals. That's why it didn't succeed. Jason says, I'll just play my old stuff and rotate them through the year. Well, new people coming up won't have that choice, Jason, right? They would have to go with the cloud because that's all they have. That's all they have. It was the business of Google Stadia. It made no sense to buy the game again that you already owned. This is the exact same reason that people are like, this is why Xbox is going to play anywhere. If I buy it on the Xbox, I can play it on PC. I can play it in the cloud. I can play it on my television set. It's everywhere. That's the difference between Stadia and Xbox. Asher says maybe GTA 7 will bring you back when it launches exclusively on the cloud, which would be hilarious, Ashraf, because if you remember, I think it was it Grand Theft Auto 5? I think it was Grand Theft Auto 5. During the main story, they're like, it's in the cloud now. It's in the cloud. Like, that would be so hilarious if that's what it was. Like Grand Theft Auto Cloud Edition. It's in the cloud. Shadow said GeForce used to be awesome. Now they ruined it. Well, it's because they're paying for so much space for the servers. And the average gamer only plays 2 to 5 hours a week. We looked up the prices last week, me and Sarge. It would take you like 5 years to make up for the computer that you would buy. So if I bought like a $3,000 computer or just bought GeForce Now and played games through GeForce Now with the time limit, whatever, it would take me 5 years to spend as much money than just play the games on GeForce Now, which makes sense for the population coming up that doesn't own cars, gets Uber Eats everywhere, doesn't have car insurance. You know what I'm saying? They take the bus or the train or whatever else. It's just one of those things. Yeah, I think it's 20 million, 20 or 25 million. It's almost the exact same with Xbox. Same type of thing. Around the same number, 20, 25 million. Saint says it's more funny to me is that people really believe it's in the cloud, not in a data center. Oh, they think it's actually like going up into the cloud, like a cloud. They're like, I got a lot of clouds around. I have good connection. The cloud's moving in. Michael said, remember they sold us cables as no commercials. You can pay for subs and commercials. We were watching a show yesterday on Amazon with my wife, and we pay for Amazon, right? But now they changed it up. Now ads are everywhere. And I was like, all these years later, like, you're paying for a subscription model. Now, obviously, it's part of Prime, and Prime, you get free delivery and stuff like that. So it's like I understand Amazon's thing, right? But all of a sudden, now I have commercials again. And every time a commercial pops up, I'm like, I fucking hate this. I hate this because now I'm just watching cable again. That's what it is. But I'm not watching cable. I'm just watching Amazon. I hate it. It makes me not want to watch Amazon because I don't want to watch commercials. No, I definitely need a car here. It'd be hard to do no car in like LA. It's too widespread. You know what I mean? Transportation around in Central Florida is not the best. You need a car. You need a vehicle of some sort. Yeah, more ads than commercials used to be. Yeah, it's crazy. And now you get it because it's on my wife's account. So every time a commercial pops up, if she's on her phone, the item pops up on the phone. That's even worse. Ms. Luke says, I downloaded what I want to watch on Prime, and you get no ads in the download version. Oh. Well, there you go. That might be my new way. Thank you, Mr. Luke. See? If anything today, I learned that I can download the stuff and get no ads. There you go. That was worth the price of admission today. That was worth the price of admission. All right, chat. Yeah, learning. That's it. That's it, Saint. We are done for today. We'll be back tonight, 30 and Still Gaming, which is our gaming channel. We play some video games, and then we'll be back tomorrow for the Daily Grind. So if you don't want to watch video games, you can go watch us tomorrow morning for the Daily Grind. I appreciate it very much. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I do appreciate you very much for giving you a moment of your time, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Peace.
All right, y'all. Put your spreadsheets in the air. Put your Game Pass subscriptions in the air. We're going to learn a brand new dance. It's called the Nadella Shuffle. The Nadella Shuffle. Shuffle. You walked into the boardroom, said I got a master plan. The executive started clapping, but nobody understands. One day it's all exclusives, next day they're everywhere. Now Indiana Jones is packing for another platform's air. But Activision Blizzard spent billions on the dream. Now everybody's asking, what exactly does this mean? The gamers keep on watching, trying to read the signs, but the roadmap changes faster than the quarterly guidelines. Move to the left, why? Move to the right, why? Change direction overnight. All right. Do the Nadella Shuffle. Shuffle. Which way we going? Nobody knows. Do the Nadella Shuffle. Shuffle. What's the strategy? Check the next show. Cloud gaming, baby. Console gaming, baby. Everything's an Xbox now. Remember buying studios? Remember building hype? Remember when they promised us the future would be bright? Now every presentation feels like a guessing game. The mission statement changes, but the buzzwords stay the same. Game Pass is the future.